first time you watched that either.
All right, we're live.
True.
So
It's true.
this is
And we're live.
This is gonna be a test. I have no idea what to expect here, but you can like throw in some cool shit. Like you can throw in banners, and like I can put something down at the bottom to like ask questions and shit. So it'll be fun. I don't even know. Let's see what this looks like. Should have pushed out like on Twitter and Facebook, but I don't know.
Yeah, I got because I get the tweet alerts. So
Okay.
there it is.
There we are. All right.
Did it? All right. I see some people are logging in on right now. So what's up? We are figured, big day. A lot of big racing going on for the next, hour and a half. So just jump on here and we'll just do what we do and talk these races as these races at Churchill Downs and Belmont Park continue to roll on one after another. Just saw big performance by a 2-year-old at Churchill Downs, Casadero for Asmussen. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I don't know, this early, you never really know how they're going to progress, what they're going to do going forward. But I mean, that's 2 big efforts in a row, and that's something you don't see a lot early. That's why I played the horse in every wager except a win wager, because I just, it was kind of defensive use. Didn't really know if the horse could come back to that 81 buyer last time out, and it wasn't any problem. Who knows what the buyer is going to be, but that horse tracked a fast pace and just dominated down the stretch, and nobody else really was coming close. I guess herd immunity was making a little bit of a close there, but no threat whatsoever to the winner. So, I mean, anytime you see that, I know it's a filly, or I know that was a colt and this is a filly I'm going to reference, but my Miss Aurelia a little bit is what this colt kind of reminds me of. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But good performance. I'm pretty sure we'll see that horse at Saratoga next.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in, honestly, the rest of the field. I thought Country Final was really, really impressive, obviously, on the turf the first time, but Casadero special. And you guys referenced it earlier in the week on the pod and lived up to the hype in start number 2.
Yeah. Did we already lose Magic? He's gone.
I don't know. Yeah, there's no telling. I mean, again, this is we've done a lot of these with other players. Last week, all the team was all on with ABR. Breeders' Cup uses this a lot, so we're jumping in here and doing it ourselves. So this is the first time we've done it. So I'm gonna attempt to make this go without any issues. Sounds like Magic may have had issues, but hopefully we might see an appearance from Slim. I doubt it. Samich might happen at some point. So we'll see as we sit here for an hour and a half. I have a hard time believing Samich is going to be able to keep off of this show for an hour and a half, at least for a second or two.
It depends It depends how he's looking through in the next half hour, I think.
Right.
Yeah, he's taking some heat. It's so funny. His product is hilarious because it's an all or nothing type of product, right? I mean, you're playing pick 4s, you're playing pick 5s. There's no in between. And so when he is off, he gets just slammed on Twitter. And then when he hits, he's like the hero of horse racing. So I always just chuckle watching his Twitter feed, win or lose. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess there's really no in between. So you really need to check Twitter around 5 to see what type of, if he's getting killed or loved. That's when you find out what type of day he's having.
Right, yeah.
Horse racing people are just so, what have you done for me lately? And, he has a huge day yesterday. People just could not have loved him more. And then I get on there today and it's like, boy, you go from hot to cold really quick. And it's like, great,
Yeah.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just how it is, that's how it goes. If Ricky goes 2 or 3 days without hitting a pick 5, it's where, when's the last time you hit one? Then he hits 3 in a row and everybody's like, I love this guy. So that's what we deal with on a daily basis. But, I'm not going to complain now. We're getting a handicap horse racing. So that's good. And I see Magic's back. Oh my gosh. Maybe he's back.
Well, you put me back in too soon. I had to go get a beer. I was out.
Uh-oh, we got a special guest here. Hang on.
Oh my goodness.
Hey. What's up, everybody?
Stumble Bomb with a special guest coming in.
That's the little bomb right there.
Oh, she came in.
How's everybody doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Not too much. Not too much. Getting ready to go on a day date here, but I wanted to just say hi to everybody. Awesome stakes racing today. It's incredible, just the back-to-back races we got right now.
Yeah, this is a good day to do this because we're just going to fire 2 tracks, because Churchill and Belmont, and they're going to be split. So yeah, this is a great day to do it. Almost better than last week where you had the gap between the races.
So let's talk real quickly as this race where we're 2 minutes to post, 1 minute to post on the at Belmont Park. We got my horse Mississippi scratches, so we're down to a field of 6. Call Me Love, a horse that Halterman loves, on top. I do too now that my horse is scratched. The one horse even money getting ready to go off here. 3-2 on Mean Mary. The other Grand Motion, the other one was Mississippi. So what do you guys think of this field real quick? What's your picks?
Yeah, I went Call Me Love. I just thought losing by a couple to Rushing Falls, no stone unturned. I mean, it's clearly a 2-horse race to me. Mean Mary, I think they're both going to be about – actually, we're even money on Call Me Love. So if you are looking at win bet, it's one of those, I don't like to do this, but I would just look for the higher odds. I think they're so close. You're really close between both. So
I think you got to – I mean, she hasn't performed like her sister so much, but the 3, my sister – that's Sister Charlie's half-sister. So you're getting 8-1 on a Chad Brown trained half sister to Sis Charlie on the turf in New York. Like I know she doesn't perform like her sister, but there's a lot of talent in that bloodline right there.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mean Mary as a controlling speed here. I mean, there's no one else that's going to go near the lead, so I think she's going to be able to sit some pretty slow fractions. I wouldn't sleep on the 2 underneath either. You've got Christophe Clement with 2 horses in here. He's got the 1 and the 2, and it doesn't make a ton of sense as to why the 2 is in here if he believes the 1's going to fire as hard as it looks. So, I mean, I think at 24-1, the longest shot on the board, it's a definite used horse in the tries and the supers, because you'd expect that the 2 is going to show up here based on the fact that he's got the 1 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that logic. That's something I actually learned from the Magic Mike show. Maybe the only thing, but I did learn that. The whole
positive thing. You learned a lot. Just that's the only positive thing you learned from us.
You only listen to one podcast.
Yeah, but the whole 2 entry thing is interesting. And I thought it played really into you guys' hands. I believe it was when Combatant and Gift Box they were entered in the same race. And Gift Box scratched out of the race. It ends up, but still, it's like, man, Combatant. But you guys called it. It's like, yeah, they think he's doing well and he's going to win that race. So yeah, that was
big cap.
Yeah, that's right. That was the big cap. Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, I get it. Listen, we had a 27-1 shot win the first leg of this Pick 5, right? So let's see what happens here. I wouldn't. This is a race where if Call Me Love or Mean Mary don't win, then any of the other 4 definitely, they're not going to surprise me one bit.
Well, in the other motion, the 6 horse came out so Mean Mary is the why run 2 if one will do. So you have that angle in this race as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a really, to me, it really is a 2-horse race for on top when the 6 came out. So, I think you're either going to see the chalk or you're going to see that, like say that 24-1 shot, that might be it, because that horse matches up just as well with these other, double-digit prices right now on the board. So are they loading for you, Jared? I mean, they're about to get in the gate for me. It looks like
they just started for me.
They just got on the.
They just got on the turf for me too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Magic, you're saying they just started loading.
Yeah, the 1 is just going in the gate. I'm on the track feed, so I don't know if that probably proves it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm on Fox Sports 1, so I'm probably behind you.
It's too bad we don't have Slim here because we need somebody to call these since we can't stream the.
Or interrupt the call.
Well, he did a good job on the Baby R call.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got it. Horse is awesome.
All right, here we go.
All right, guys, I'm going to drop out. I'll catch you guys later. I just want to stop in and say hello.
Have fun with Lily.
See you later, Bob.
How much? See you later.
See you later.
I think the odds discrepancy is a big base of Irad Ortiz. I don't want to say for sure, but you hear Irad, Clement. I think that's a difference. And Luis Saez has slowly gotten hot at the meet. His percentages are close. They're probably about Javier's level, Castellano right about now. So
right,
I don't see off odds.
So the seven's out to the lead at 6-5. They both went off at 6-5. So Mean
Mhm.
Mary and Call Me Love both at 6-5. Mean Mary's got an easy lead. Irad's got a handful of horse with Call Me Love.
That opening quarter, 25.11. Is that right? I mean, they
It
look
probably
slow,
is.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going a mile and a quarter New York.
I mean, you could tell Luis Saez, who's ultra aggressive, is just waiting to let go because he's pretty aggressive on the front end, and that's one of the things that turned me off. It's Saez. I just didn't think it took a big hit. Mean Mary took a big hit because it was 9-5, I think, before they took the odds off.
Yeah, 51-5.
Jeez.
Sister Charlie's little sister is going to have to be a monster close from 10 lengths off in this pace.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
It's not going to happen.
No. Although if you listen to the Breeders' Cup, they did think Sister Charlie was running today. So
all right, they're in the turn.
This is 1 or 7.
16.28. Call Me Love's got horse. It's going to turn into a 2-horse race here.
it's how much does Mean Mary still have left?
Yeah. So far, looks like quite a bit. I think she's going to go win by a mini in the spot. Call Me Love has come up empty, and Mean Mary is just going to win by the length of the stretch.
Hey, look at Sister Charlie's sister, though. Look at her go.
Yeah. A good close up for second.
I think we know why they scratched Mississippi, huh?
There it is.
That was a good race from Mean Mary, no doubt. And it certainly kind of looked like on paper it was going to be one of those two, and one ran and one didn't. So that's the result that you get,
Yeah, it's just one of those you kind of just have to move on. You just take both and move on. It was tough to, especially if you're playing multis, just pick both and move on.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I'm going to scroll over now to Churchill real quick. Just look at the odds. 2-5 on Midnight Bisou right now, guys, and then 2-1 on Serengeti Empress.
It's pretty close to their morning line. 3-5 and 2-1, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess my deal is, if you want to try to beat Midnight Bisou, don't you want a little more than 2-1?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anyone who has any chance to beat these two. I think 2-1 is. I would have taken 2-1. I think just knowing how much Serengeti Empress is going to be. I mean, they made the mistake last time. Talamo made the mistake the last time not getting that horse to the front, and she's still trying to finish that race. So that mistake won't happen again. So I think 2-1 is fair. Honestly, I think the morning lines are going to be about right.
Well, Jared, you always say if she's not in the lead, just don't even bother running her. So I mean,
if they get to the backside and she's not in the lead, then just pull her up and save it for another day because it's pointless. I mean, she does not win unless she's got this crazy, just crazy pace and she's setting it. So
yeah,
it's really that easy. By the way, everyone that's on. Just feel free, whether you're on watching off Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, ask questions, comment on there and ask questions. They'll pop up, and if it's good enough, we'll throw it up on the screen. No dick pics or racist comments, please. But if past that, we might post it and we'll talk about it.
Do your best Karen impression. We'll throw it up on there.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. A quick thank you to you guys and gals that have emailed us since the show. We appreciate it. There's a lot of support. So that's nice.
We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the Karen shirts and people that want the Karen shirts. And just stay tuned because we got a big thing we're working on. And we'll get you some shirts for sure. So
yeah, we're gonna make a really good situation out of a really shitty one. Basically, is what we're working on doing right now. So yeah, look forward for that. So let's go to the race. I mean, this is really kind of a hard race to analyze because it's so easy to analyze, right? The 4 goes to the lead. Can the 5 catch the 4? I mean, it's really the same thing we just saw in New York, right?
Pretty much. I did like go Google yourself. I don't know if that was if I had to pick one to throw in there, if I was like, I'm not playing chalk, that would be the one. just coming out of the race with Cece, Ollie's Candy, and that Apple Blossom. But I think you'd be hard pressed to really make a strong opinion for anyone else.
You have to really stretch, Ricky, where you're going with this. You have to really stretch to make a legitimate case for someone, because you need someone to either take a 10-15 career best buyer improvement, or you need the two favorites to completely throw up clunkers. One of them, yes, but can you expect both of them to do it? It's tough.
Like I mentioned on Blinkers Off, I mean, I do feel like it's going to require a solid number here from Midnight Bisou to win. I do think. I mean, Serengeti seems like she's going to come into this race. The pace sets up front. I mean, she'll be on the lead. Should be. And when Serengeti brings it, she'll put up a high 90s buyer for sure. And it's going to require probably close to a triple-digit buyer from Midnight to win here, I think. And so it's been a layoff. We hadn't seen her since the Toddy Cup. We talked about Blinkers Off as well. I mean, she didn't even win her last race of the Breeders' Cup. I mean, it's been a little while since she's won a race, and so it's time for her to kind of pick it back up. And this is anything but easy. Trying to run down Serengeti Empress. Yeah,
the only thing Serengeti Empress does have 2 wins here at Churchill out of 3, and Midnight Bisou has 2/3 and 2. I'm not saying that's a reason to pick one or the other. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that Serengeti Empress will certainly be tough to beat. I would take 2-1 on just a win bet if that's what you're thinking. Because I don't know if Midnight Bisou 1-5, 2-5, 3-5 is worth it.
But to me, it's as far as a win, it's just a skip. I just wouldn't bet a win, because now Serengeti Empress is 8-5, and I'm sorry, even if she wins and pays 8-5. I won the bet. That's great. But it's just like, it's 8-5. Like, that's not worth the risk of trying to beat, the best horse in this division, especially with Serengeti Empress, who doesn't win races very often. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And I guess, yes, that is a knock on her, but at the same time, it's like, it's a fact, I can't, say anything different, because she simply doesn't. I still think she's very good, but now odds right now 8-5, and now 1-2 on Midnight Bisou. We're almost to like, okay, if Midnight Bisou is 3-5, is that a win bet, or do we have to have more than that even?
I would get 4-5. I would wait 4-5. Yeah. I think that would be the lowest I can go. But even then, like you just said, I don't know if that's worth it either. I don't know.
I think now it's 6-5 and 3-5. This is really surprising what I'm seeing, because I really thought 2-5, 2-1. I didn't think it would go lower than that. So we are like 2 clicks away from these 2 horses being the same price. That's very surprising to me. I mean, yes, I know there's a pace advantage, but like I've said, Serengeti Empress doesn't win a whole lot, and Midnight Bisou wins a lot. So this is fascinating to me.
When do we get to the point where you just throw $10 on anyone else? Not for any reason other than the fact that you might like the name. Go Google yourself. No, I'm serious, because if 14-1, I mean, or I'm just using go Google yourself, but say Chocolate Kisses, whatever you're. I think we're getting to the point where if you can get 20-1, 30-1 on someone else, even for the smallest reason, maybe a Churchill Downs thing, maybe a post thing, whatever it is, just because they're both getting hammered.
You've got 75% of the show pool on Midnight Bisou right now too, which is, I mean, she's never finished off the board in her life, if I'm correct. So if you think she's going to take a big bounce, I think if you spread 2 across everyone except for or even if you want to include Midnight, it'd be kind of dumb. But if she misses the board, that show pool is going to pay.
Well, yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So I said because Ricky was saying 10 to win, I think it's a safer bet to go 2 to show on everyone, or even 10 to show somewhere under.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that even makes better sense, right? You know, I didn't realize it was
because if she misses, you're cashing at 3 different times versus trying to
right.
Yeah. You know, and it's basically that when you try to do that, it's just kind of a dick around bet. Like, here, I'm going to throw in the money and hopefully I get a balloon. So, all right, they're in the gate. I got them breaking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just saw the 7 in the gate, so you guys are a little ahead still.
All right.
I remember who.
Well, I mean, once again, you've got
big surprise here.
Yeah, she's out in front. Now the 7's coming up, but I don't think she's going to put much pressure on her here. Midnight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the spot you want. I mean, like I say, you can go ahead and finish the race if you're Serengeti Empress because she's in the spot. She's got the lead. This is what you want. Really, I don't even care what the numbers come up as. This is where she's going to win from if she's going to win.
Yeah.
She's done that before where she goes really fast on the front end because there's nobody pushing her. It's
like right now, the way this race looks, I mean, it's going to, like, Midnight's going to have to run really freaking well.
Yep.
Look at her. I mean, Serengeti Empress is rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, but look, I mean, Mike is moving her up a little bit on the, I don't know where you're at, but on the backstretch, he is trying to get her moving forward a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a secret or a sneaky move to try to get her in a little bit better position. But Jared's right, 46 and change for the half, so she's moving pretty quickly. But like I said, she's unpressured, and that's
this is dangerous. I mean, this is why you have to play her because look at this.
Yep.
I mean, Midnight's rolling the other way, guys.
Midnight's coming hard.
Oh,
so,
no, Midnight's
yeah. I don't know if you're watching,
but he's. Oh boy!
Woo!
Oh boy!
Aaron, it looks to me like Midnight's going to fly right by here.
Look at her ears. Did you see her ears when they're up like that?
Oh my
God!
Wow!
Yeah, there, boys.
Best horse in racing, right there.
That's the number one horse in the world on the dirt right now. This is a monster effort,
guys.
And wow. That's all I can say about that. Wow.
I mean, it's just, at this point, it's how much does she want to win by? Mike's already got her down to a gallop at the 16th pole.
This is a classic horse.
I agree.
This is a classic horse. Her ears never went from being pricked the whole way.
What is that? What was that, like 9? 8 or 9?
Maybe. I mean, maybe more. That was
good.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. And geared down, easily geared down. I think we could have hit 15 had Mike Smith ridden her out hard.
I mean, yeah.
I was trying to watch the feed on the Twin Spires on mine's behind on TV, and I saw Chocolate Kisses going backwards, and for a second I thought it was.
Oh, that's who you thought she was. Okay.
You thought it was Chocolate Kisses?
Yeah.
You said she's rolling the wrong way, and I was like,
that's not Midnight.
If that was Chocolate Kisses rolling up like that, we need everyone needs to be. We need to find out what type of juice that.
This is only my first beer too. That's what's crazy.
Listen, if Chocolate Kisses would have done that, I just would have hung up on this call or whatever this is that we're doing.
Good Lord, guys.
I do want to just say Julien Leparoux was smart to just be second because you kind of figured. I don't know if anyone played the exacta, but if you really wanted to just chalk it up to something else and you didn't want to play 4-5, 5-4 because you're not going to get anything. If you liked one over the other and threw the 7 in there, which you figured would track, it ended up none of the closers came home. So if that was just, I don't know what, it's not going to pay much, but if you just went like 5-7 cold, maybe it'll pay a tad. I don't know. If anyone knows.
I think the 5-7 $2 exacta is paying $39 on the will pays. So
that's not bad. I mean, just from you're not catching any of these horses if you're a closer, especially with a horse like if that's the type of exacted try player you are.
Yeah,
I thought Leparoux did as well as he could.
Oh yeah,
beating Serengeti Empress.
Yeah, second in a grade 2 race with a horse that had no business getting second in a grade 2 race. So
and she finishes second twice in a row. So if nothing else, she's consistently getting second.
One thing that you guys said on blinkers, or you didn't mention on blinkers off about when the fact that they brought her back. They pulled her out of a sale. She was supposed to sell the day after the Breeders' Cup, and they pulled her out of it because they thought she was going to have such a big chance at a 5-year-old season. So this is a horse that they were willing to, after the Distaff, after she finished third, go, okay, we'll sell her and probably get $5-6 million for her, but you're gonna get double for that now.
I mean, I don't know who beats her right now.
We've had Halter and I have both been consistently ranking her number 1 in the NTRA polls as the top, and obviously, that John White made an interesting, comment in his article this week where it was like the horse hasn't even won this year. We are. I think we just showed why we've been ranking this horse number 1 because you can't touch her. And Serengeti Empress obviously backed up, but she was rolling, and to go by her just like that, even when at the top of the stretch, off the layoff, never really moving. I mean, she just kind of went. I mean, she made up 10 links and like that. So
Didn't that remind you of a little bit of like a Zenyatta sweep? Not that, deep close, obviously. The running styles are different, but just everyone was going backwards while she was going forward. That's how you make up the distance so quickly. I don't want to say Zenyatta-like performance, but just that was impressive.
Her ears reminded me of Zenyatta when they turned for home and the ears are straight up like that. I thought, wow, and that's when a horse is really, really happy with their job, and so that's what we saw. I mean, it was crazy. Steve Asmussen, he said on Fox Sports 2, they had a quote from him saying that he thinks this is the best horse in the world. And this is a guy that's trained 2 horses that at one time probably were the best horses in the world, Curlin and Rachel Alexandra. And Gunrunner, if you want to throw him in there as well. There was a time where he was one of the best in the world. So for him to make a comment like that, it's not some idiot that's never really had a good horse. This guy's had a lot of good horses. I heard on the Magic Mike show, and I about wrecked my car. When Mike Somich says, well, I don't really like playing Asmussen when he gets up in these higher levels. I mean, love you, Mike. And I would say this if you were on the show, even with your little girl, that's one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life. This is a guy that wins grade 1 races left and right with 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. And so anyway, that's all I'll go for that. But listen, this horse has consistently gotten better and better and better each year. I think that's the biggest thing. This horse, even midway, let's say this time last year, maybe she wins this race today, but it wasn't a laughing stock type performance. I mean, it would have been a closer race than this. So I don't know, guys. This is a really good horse. I don't know if you keep her against her own, division until the big one, or if you try the boys again. Probably not. Not worth it to try the boys until the Classic. But no matter what they do, I'll just enjoy watching her run.
I want to say real quick, the views of Mike Somich do not represent the Magic Mike Show podcast as a whole. He really has a thing against Asmussen, probably because we drafted Chestertown and we had an Asmussen horse last year that didn't really pan out much either. So, but he lets it go a little too far. I just wanted to say that. That is a good question for someone to answer that Jared threw up there.
I would also wait. Sorry, Jared. I would wait.
I was just going to say that's what that's. In my opinion, that's what you have to do with her. I mean, if she's going to win the race, especially when you're talking about going up against Midnight Bisou, you have one way. There's one way you beat that horse, and you just blaze. You guys know, anybody listens to Blinkers Off knows one of my favorite kind of horses is a horse that just goes and throws it out there. And whether or not they're good enough, we'll find out. But they're going to go speed, and they're going to be as fast as they can. And that's sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But obviously, today was not one of those days when you're facing. Did she get third? Is that what she ended up getting?
Fourth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fourth.
Really hard, huh?
Yeah. So what was the question? I'm not seeing the questions. What was?
Well, it went away. But why did Talmo take
Serengeti Empress? Yeah. Why did she go so fast? Basically, that's what they're asking.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What you said. I mean. That's a horse, and Jared was right to say it. Like, it doesn't really matter what the fractions are; she has to be in front. Period. And so let's pretend that they kind of try to strangle her, and she's still in front. She would have lost by that much more that they didn't let her go out in front, because there's no tactic in the world where that horse was going to win today. None. Zero, zilch. No chance that horse was going to win once Midnight Bisou started to make that run. So, and you could say that for a lot of horses in training, maybe all of them right now.
So I think, do we all 4 agree on here? And anybody that wants to comment as well, does everyone agree that this is, and we don't know, obviously, but Classic should probably be the goal for this horse at the end of the year, not the Distaff?
I think to give the Magic Mike Show a little credit now, and something that Curtis said on the show, I think it's interesting, and he made a really good point. As great as this horse has been, as many great races as this horse has won, the Breeders' Cup eludes her, right? Finished third as a 3-year-old, or was it second? Third or second? I can't remember. And then second as a 4-year-old. Yeah, that's where I got the second. So, sure, we can sit here and say classic. We can sit here and say this or that. But the bottom line is she hasn't even actually won a Breeders' Cup race in her division. Magic, you want to kind of, because it was your kind of comment. So
yeah. So when I did the preview for breederscup.com, the thing that stood out to me about it is that there's two things that she has left to do this year. Like, the only reason to bring her back is to accomplish two things. One is to win at Churchill Downs, which she just did, and two is to win the Breeders' Cup. Those are the only two things left for her to do in her career. And so for her to get this big and look so impressive at Churchill, I mean, you could make mitigating, reasons why she lost the Kentucky Oaks or why she lost the Breeders' Cup Distaff that year as a 3-year-old, because nobody was beating Monomoy Girl, if you remember that race. This was a big hurdle for her to jump over, and it probably doesn't matter that much to her, but I think her connections have to feel that much more confident about her that they can go to Keeneland, which tends to play differently than Churchill, that they can go to Keeneland at the end of the year. You guys are all saying classic. I think it'd be fun. But maybe this is where you were going, Aaron. I think the fact that she hasn't yet won a Breeders' Cup race, just aim for that distaff, because that's still a really nice paycheck that you could get. Depending on how Monomoy Girl comes back, I think that's how you determine where you want to go with her. And I mean, not that I'm saying they should be scared of Monomoy Girl, but if she looks like the Monomoy Girl from 2 years ago or like she did in her debut, I honestly think facing the males right now might be a little bit easier than a year-end matchup with Monomoy Girl again.
I think it's important to remember last year's campaign, as awesome as she was. I mean, she ran 8 times last year.
Oh, that's right.
The Houston Ladies Classic, the Azaria, the Apple Blossom, the Ogden Phipps, the Molly Pletcher, the Purcell Ensign, the Beldame, and then the Breeders' Cup Distaff. And she won them all other than the Breeders' Cup. I mean, you're talking like 7 races leading up to the Breeders' Cup campaign, starting in January. So a horse that, started in February, took some time off, came back end of June. We'll probably see her again at Saratoga, but it definitely feels like you could be cutting it in half compared to last year. Because like you said, Magic, what's the goal? Get to the Breeders' Cup in fine form, and that's probably what's going to happen here. Considering that we're mid-June, late June, I guess, at this point, and we only seen her 2 times this year. So I think that's we're okay. But real quick, we're getting up to this next race at Belmont Park. What is it? The True North. And unfortunately, promises fulfilled. Another horse like we talked about with the blazes and just fun to watch, scratches. So we're down to Ferenz Fire at 3-5. Is anybody taking a Ferenz Fire at 3-5 in this race?
Ricky is.
Shit.
No, no. I mean that's a little low. I still think Forensic Fire is still the horse to beat, but I mean, would you say 3-5? That's not worth it at all. I mean, I'm gonna just be a little careful what I say about 3-5, but I would take a shot with about anyone else.
Well, people are asking on the questions, 1 or the 3 seem to be the ones that people are asking about. I know, Halterman, you have something to say about that, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, I picked 3 Wicked Trick on top just because the success at 6 furlongs has been fantastic. 4 in a row at this distance. Obviously a step up, and that's going to be the big question mark. But as we get closer to the post of this race, specifically this morning when Promises Fulfilled scratched out, guys, if this had an allowance type tag on it, I don't think any of us would say much. Like, this is kind of an allowance. It's a tough allowance, but especially when you take the favorite who's off the juice, he's just kind of a normal horse is what we're assuming. So then what do you have? You've got Yorkton, who's not terrible. Diamond King, who's trained by John Service. He's probably a little more careful than he used to be in the past, right? So is Diamond King going to run to his past form? Probably not. So what do we really have here? A pretty tough Belmont allowance race, right? So that's why I think Wicked Trick at 9-2, even though it's a quote unquote class jump, well, hey, it's still, this is not a normal stakes that you'll see here at Belmont.
Just to back what you said on Wicked Trick, if we go back to August 10th, claim her at the 16,000 level and look at what Linda Rice has done with this horse. I'm not saying that this horse is overmatched, undermatched, whatever. Linda Rice would not have Wicked Trick in this lower level stakes if she didn't think he would be ready. That's all I'll say. And at 5-1, honestly, that's not the best price because I expected something a tad higher, and obviously Promises Fulfilled coming out makes a difference there. But I just think that's a horse that you must play. And if you're against Firenze Fire, which I don't want to speak for everyone, but I would say most of us are or don't love that price anyway, that's a horse that you must add. And I also like Diamond King as well. I went with the 1 and 3. I did use Firenze Fire, but that's more out of just to not – I don't want to get beat there. But I like the 1 and 3 a lot. I'm with you, Halty.
Well, the bottom line is with Firenze Fire, he still could win, right? If he's 70% of what he was, let's assume, he still could win the race. But, okay, he's 4-5. You could have bet who we are thinking is the best dirt horse in the world at 1-2 in the very last race. So it doesn't make sense to bet a 4-5 when you could have got 1-2 just 10 minutes ago here. So, like I said, he could win, but I understand the Diamond King play. I'm not going to be shocked at all. I'm with you, Ricky. 1 and 3, that's the logical ones. The other one to think about, especially with Promises Fulfilled out, is the 5. The 5's got a lot of speed. Dylan Davis has won a race wire to wire already today. It was the 3rd race on the turf, a little bit different circumstances, obviously, but still, the 5's got the speed, and I think it's much more dangerous now with the 7 out.
I agree with you. I like Yorkton. You and I know him from watching Woodbine a lot. It's nice to see him here. I meant to say this about the last race, but with Graham Motion, because of who he faces and or was facing trainer wise, and like in New Jersey and New York, I feel like his horses have done better since we had that FBI raid. And I'm not saying that everybody else he was facing was cheating, but Graham Motion, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I always felt Graham Motion was doing things very cleanly. And so for him to suddenly be facing, trainers who were a little scared and a little more cautious, like you were alluding to, Aaron, I've been giving Graham Motion horses a little like kind of bump when I handicap races, just because I think that there's a decent chance that they're gonna, because he does things the right way, they're gonna be better than the horses kind of suffering from the juice layoff.
I heard another theory on Graham Motion and how he's doing really well since the pandemic, and he trains all his horses at Fair Hill, and he never got any kind of interruption at all. They just kind of did their thing. I don't necessarily know if the training schedule was kind of off everywhere, but in some places in the East, I know it was. So at Fair Hill, they just kept going because, it's just a training track there. So there was no interruption in what they were doing and interruption in his program. So another theory as well. And the other thing is he's just a really good trainer, right? I mean, he always has been. So
right.
You combine all those factors, and I think they all kind of probably play a little bit of a part in it. Because like you said, you made a good point. This guy, he's not worried about the FBI coming to his barn. So
he was the first trainer I remember seeing something about when the FBI raids happened. It was a pretty simple tweet. It was just something basically like, here we go. This is good. Like he was ready after like 20 years of facing these people. He's like, finally.
Yeah. Just to back Yorkton, and as you guys talk about, Dylan Davis will make his 3rd start aboard. I think that shows a lot of confidence putting Dylan Davis on the front end. And I think, Magic Mike, you guys have talked about it. When you're on the lead, there's less mistakes to be made. And I'm not saying Dylan Davis is good, bad, indifferent, whatever, but he's been on this horse before. And if you are going to pick a horse, and Yorkton, as we talk, is like 3-1 now. So I don't know if that's the price you want to take, but Dylan Davis he's been good on the lead. He already did it today. And he's one of the more underrated riders. And if you take Irad Ortiz off the stats, Dylan Davis looks much better. I hate to say, but it's tough at 4% sometimes to make that case, but he's not as bad as the stats indicate. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he's capable. He's capable. And the other thing you got to remember about jockeys, sometimes when you're riding in a colony with the 2 Ortizes, Javier Castellano, Johnny Velasquez, hey, it's tough to get on good horses. And that's not to mention kind of that second tier of Manny Franco, and
Lescano.
Lascano Joel Rosario is there. He's really not a second tier. He's more
I was
first
going to
tier.
put him second tier.
No, I'm not. But I just forgot to add him. So
Well, he's all over the place. He doesn't have one
right,
set home.
and think about the two major riders that aren't there that will be at Saratoga most likely: Ricardo Santana and Gaff Leone. I mean, we're talking about two that would fit right in with that elite group. Maybe just a tad under the Castellano and Ortiz, depending on how you look at it. But we're missing two riders that are dominating Churchill Downs that will make their way to Saratoga. We could almost guarantee that because they have in the past. So this jockey colony is impressive. So
it is.
Anyone who's discouraged by stats, like Manny Franco coming into like today was like 9%. He's not a 9% rider. Let's be realistic. You put him at Woodbine, you put him at even like Monmouth when they start again, he will lead that. He will lead there. So
they're out of the gate on my feet here.
Yeah. So Yorkton in front, like we thought. I mean, not that was hard to come up with, but
Prince Fire is what, fourth?
He's fourth. He's sitting a really good trip. 22-8 to start. So I mean, a really good sprinter can run this fast and win.
3 looks pretty solid if the pace can up a little bit.
As we move along, Firenze Fire at even money, that's still a little low.
Yeah. 3. He set a good trip. The 8. The 8 really has no excuse here.
Well, he's got one, but nothing triple.
Well,
all
right, wicked trip.
3 looks good. Come on,
he's making a good move.
There's the Diamond King.
I think Firenze is going to win this thing.
Prince Fire.
Oh, well, there you go. What do we know?
The juice is not loose, I guess, anymore, huh?
Yeah. That's just one of those you hate to swallow, but like Ricky said, you don't want to get beat by him at the same time. And
if we look at the horses that he's lost to, Vacoma, Matoli, Imperial Hint, I mean, I'm not saying he's not obviously as good as those, but juice or not, I mean, he just outclasses this group.
Yeah.
That's like we talked about on Bliggers Off. If this, if you didn't before the news and whatnot, I mean, if this horse is typical service and whatnot, this horse is no doubt. You think it has a lock to win this race, even if Promises Field is in the race, because that's how good Prince Fire can be, especially at Belmont. And we just, you basically were just saying, well, he looked so poor last time out. You just assume that the juice is weared off, and clearly this is still a very nice horse. So,
do you guys kind of does that kind of make you happy to see him win? Because I kind of liked him before, because he would go to quote unquote my tracks, like the shitty tracks sometimes, and win races. So I kind of got a following for him a little bit. It's kind of nice that, hey, he won. He is okay, at least. We don't have to look at him and say, well, he never won when he got away from trainer X,
Right.
So
obviously you hope that these guys are, you want to root for these horses that aren't juiced up,
Yeah, it's not the horse's fault. Like Maximum Security, it would be it'd be nice to see him win. Although he didn't really, well, I'm not going to go there, but it would be nice to see him win. Let's just leave it at that.
Exactly. I mean, he's got Tampa in his past performances. He's got Penn National in his past performance. And you do like to see horses that will move away from the bigger tracks every so often, just to, when you go to these smaller tracks, these are the horses you come to see. You're not always going to get the Midnights and, Matolis and all the top horses, but you look forward to seeing Firenze Fire come to your local track. And that's a good point you brought up.
Yeah, it's so it's something interesting. If we're going to move on to the next one, the Stephen Foster is 7 minutes away. The favorite is not Tom Zitat. The favorite is By My Standards right now, guys. Are you guys surprised? Not surprised?
Very surprised. Very surprised.
Jared?
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, totally insane, because I feel like, I'm playing both Tom and By My Standards here, and Owendale if I can. But Tom should. Tom is his back class enough should have. He'll be the favorite when they go off.
If we're just looking at the odds right now, Tom is. I'm looking at 9-5 and Owendale 7-2. I mean, I'm nothing against Brad Cox and Florent Giroux, but I mean, you've got to be kidding. The only logical explanation you could make for Tom not being the favorite, all seriousness, is Miguel Mena's aboard. That's the only thing I could look at and say, all right, that's why. But still, I like Miguel Mena, and that wouldn't be my reason. I'm just saying that would be.
He's also Miguel Mena is the exercise rider that is aboard Tom Zaytat every single time he works. Miguel Mena is the one in the saddle, so I could make the argument that he knows that horse better than Joel Rosario does.
Right? No, fair. But I'm saying if you're looking at it, you picked up the program today. You see Joel, Irad, Sean. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to make an argument for or against, because at 9-5, I might have to pause and wager myself on a win. But I'm just making the point that if you're just picking it up for the first time today, you don't know what you know.
Right.
I mean, you know, Joel, obviously not there, and that Miguel Mena's aboard, and even his numbers are decent. I'm not saying he's good or bad. I'm just saying he's not Joel. I think that's fair to.
When did Gabriel Saez get off? But is that because of his suspension?
Yeah, he got a 30-day suspension, and that is why he's not riding.
Because I thought while he was appealing, he was able to still ride. That's why I was surprised.
I think I read that they handed that down a couple days ago. So yeah, he had to get Corey Lannery aboard here. So yeah, and that's another factor. I guess the good news on that would be Corey Lannery's pretty good at Churchill. So
he's second in the jockey standings, isn't he? Behind Tyler?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, behind Tyler. Yeah, he's good. He's really good there.
But, Magic, to your point of, Miguel Mena knows Tom Zaytat, Corey Lannery might not know by my standards that well. So it's interesting. And then, hey, you want to talk shit on my boy Owendale. I'm telling you, man, the source, he's consistent.
He's a lock to hit the board. And
hey, I played him in my pick 4 that's going to pay nothing now, but I did play him in my pick 4. So
you needed your Pletcher horse in that 2-year-old race to come through, and he didn't.
Needed anybody but Asmussen in the 2-year-old race, yeah. And then I needed Serengeti when Asmussen won. But really, I don't think Serengeti was the way she was bad. I don't think it was really going to matter who won that race. It's not. It wasn't going to make a huge difference in the payouts. So, but you come into this one, and it's like, well, I have to have Owendale, or this really is going to just pay nothing. Even if you get a price on the last. So, I'm with you guys. He just doesn't seem like a likely winner. But I do think this horse, his race last time out, kind of showed me that he's better this year. He's gotten better. He's improved a little bit. So I think crazier things have happened. And, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, there's a pair right there that, we're not talking about a jockey change. We're not talking about anything different. It's this horse. He's at the same track where he won last time out. So I think he's got some factors in his favor here.
Who's winning? Who are you guys picking?
I'm going with Tom's.
Yeah,
I don't think it's.
I was going to swallow even money before, so if you're giving me, he's now 8-5 on my feed. So if you're giving me 8-5 on Tom, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a little different than last week when I told everyone on Mad Dog to back up the truck to bet Tiz. In the sense that I just had no doubt in my mind he was going to win. I mean, yeah, you do have a horse like By My Standards in here that is dangerous, even Owendale, but at 7-5, 8-5. I mean, shit, pound as much as you feel comfortable betting, because that is value right there. And I just think he is such a versatile horse. He can win from a little bit off. He can win right on the lead. He loves. He's a lot. We talked a lot about this on Blinkers Off. He's a lot like Blame, a former trained horse by the same trainer, Alstall. So we kind of developing. Blame wasn't quite. What was Blame when he won the Classic? 5?
I think he was 4.
4. And I mean,
or was he 5?
This is a 7-year-old, so obviously took a little longer for this horse to develop. But man, he's got this horse good. And the biggest thing for me, the two differences when I looked at By My Standards, who, don't get me wrong, I think both of them coming in this race, hard to say much negative things about either one of them. But you look at the class of horses that each have faced. I mean, By My Standards has just been dominating good horses. I mean, he beat the hell out of Improbable going a distance that he does not want to go off a long layoff, and did it almost easily. So, to me, it's Tom. One of the here you go. Here's a comment for you, Halterman.
Okay.
I'm going with Pirates Punch.
Well,
There's your horse.
listen,
Yeah, I like Pirates Punch.
I said on Blinkers Off that Pirates Punch is one that I wouldn't blame anybody if they played. And, he's got a little bit of a pace advantage. He's got Mike Smith aboard. Mike Smith won on a 6-1 shot a little bit earlier in the card. So it's not like he just won on midnight. I mean, and he did the same thing on that 6-1 shot, put him towards the front, and then he just outkicked everybody to the wire. Pirates Punch, and I made this point on Blinkers Off, he is this caliber. He has faced this caliber of horse. Got beat last time out by Endorsed, who I probably would be the third choice in here if Endorsed was in this race, and he was within 3/4 of a length.
He also got sorry to interrupt you, but he also got stuck wide. He's a speed horse. They got put out. He was put too wide into the turn there. I think if he gets a better trip, I think he beats Endorsed in that race.
And you got to think he's going to get a good trip here for his running style because he's going to break from the 2-hole and just try to take him wire to wire. I don't hate that pick. I don't. And listen, right now we are in a situation where we've had a heavy favorite and a heavy favorite win the last 2 races. So I don't blame you for saying, okay, let's try to create some value here. Listen, if it's me, I'm at 6-5. I'm with everybody. I think Tom's Diatat is still a pretty good bet because I do like him. But if you want to try to play the 2 at 15-1, I'm not going to talk you off of it.
Yeah, I talked about emotion as they're loading in with Leperoux, and he did a good job to track, and he got second. I think the same with Pirates Punch. If Pirates Punch is on the lead and Tom's Diatat swoops home, that could be the exacta right there. You could have that 5-2, maybe by my standards finishes third. I'm just saying because at least you should have a shot with Mike Smith on the lead. And that's a comfortable feeling to have as opposed to a closer who's going to be behind Tom's Diatat. So I think in just terms of how you feel comfort-wise, it's nice to know you should be on the lead with one of the best.
All right, they're off.
Whoa, nice break from Tom.
Yeah, Tom broke well.
Yeah, you guys are ahead.
He doesn't usually sit that far up front, does he?
No.
That's
he's won close like that, but that's pretty damn close for him.
I mean, that's closer than usual. That's closer than the Oaklawn race for sure.
But he's not like going crazy out there. Like he's in a gallop. He's not.
He's comfortable.
Yeah, right.
Well, he broke so well. I mean, he basically broke. He came right out perfectly. How do you back him off of it? So yeah, he's Pirates Punch. Your horse, Halterman, your long shot horse, is controlling the race right now. Moderate fraction, just shy under 24 flat.
So if you bet Pirates Punch right now, you want to throw up because you never would have guessed. That
Look at Tom sitting right there.
Close. Yeah.
Especially with Tom literally breathing down this horse's neck.
Yeah. So if I bet I bet the 5, so I'm feeling like really good because he feels like he's like barely moving right now. The 6 is in a really good spot too, though. I think this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah, I just want to see
force wide though.
Yeah, Tom his ears are pricked and he just went right by the 2.
Yeah, the 2's done. 6, look, he's coming up, but he's gonna have to do some running here.
Lannery's working a lot harder than Miguel Mena.
Guys,
it's over. It's over.
Boys.
That thing was over at the quarter pole.
This 5's about to win.
Come on, Tommy. Look at he's not even. This is the time for the shirt, Jared. He ain't hitting him.
He ain't hitting him.
He ain't hitting him.
It's not often you can see a jockey looking back after they've entered the stretch.
Wow.
This pick 4 is going to pay like $4.
Yeah, but there's something to be said when you get the true superstars running in the big races that are for Classic and Distaff, and they go out and they fucking destroy the field. Like there's something to be said about those kind of horses.
Absolutely. This is not a day where it's like, oh, I can't believe that pick 4 is going to pay X amount. It's we've seen. Listen.
Wow.
Hey, maybe Midnight Bisou should stay in the Distaff.
Yeah.
Look
at the final time. It's over a second and a half faster. Midnight Bisou was 149 flat. He was 147.3.
How many times can you say you've seen a job? Miguel Mena, they've entered the stretch. Like they're in the stretch, and he's still looking. The stereotype look behind him kind of thing, like just to make sure. Like you might see it in the turn sometimes. Very rarely do you see him look behind him like that. Like this, the horse was absolutely loaded.
What did we say the final time was, Magic? Did you see?
147.3, which was 149 flat is what Midnight was. He was 147.3. Yeah, go face mount away.
The track record was Victory Gallop, 147.28.
Wow.
Oh, thank you for that. That's going on the recap.
And he could have beat it.
1999.
He could have beat that easily, I think.
Right. That was my point, because I think we can easily get another 3/5 faster if he really was pushed.
Did you see Miguel Mina after the wire? He was doing this. What does that mean? Why is he doing that?
Don't doubt me.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm serious. I think that's what it was.
He was 6-5. Are you kidding me? That's the easiest 6-5 that you're ever gonna get.
Free money.
What was the last time we saw a horse at even money who we thought was clearly better go up to 6-5 and then run like that? Usually, if that has happened, the horse didn't win like that. Mm-hmm. And then we could look back and say maybe there was a reason why. He could have run another half a mile. Realistically, he could have ran the Trail's End with that performance.
That's right. Yeah, that was something.
Trail's End, for those of you who don't know.
Like to say, I just I think we've all kind of been there when we say, okay, I'm going to get kind of cute, and try to play a speed horse. We think he's going to be out and ahead. You feel good if you had Serengeti Empress up the backside. It's like, well, at least she's got that advantage. If you played Pirate's Punch, and again, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. But if you played him, you literally had to want to jump off the roof head first when you see the monster horse that you think is going to be 6 behind, and he's 1 behind. That's just a terrible feeling. Who would have thought that would happen, right? I mean,
I think, not to discredit by my standards, but he's not at that level. And I think that he's good, not at quite that level.
Yeah, he definitely showed that he's a good horse. He ran second to a monster today. But like I kind of mentioned coming up into this race, how you just look at the kind of class that Tom's D'Etat is destroying, and you look at the class that by my standards has been destroying, and they don't compare. Ricky was like 12 years old the last time Tom's D'Etat ran a sub triple-digit buyer. So this horse has been running consistent 12 or triple-digit buyers for so long. It just seems like it's just too easy for him. And by my standards, set a career high last time out in the Oakland Handicap, and that basically matched the low of Tom's D'Etat. So it's like this horse has just consistently been better. He's just a higher level horse, and I just tweeted it out on Twitter. Yeah, maybe Midnight should stick with the Distaff after that one.
Something.
You got 260 to show on Tom's D'Etat with by my standards. Finishing second.
I haven't bet a
Who the
show
hell's doubting him?
Ricky was in diapers, but still, that if you're betting shows, that's a really good bet. So.
I love that this joke has just grown.
Ricky,
I'm here for it. No, I'm here for it.
Because Ricky's going to be here long after we're all gone. That's why he's here for it.
He gets the last laugh.
Hey, Silver Dust didn't one of you talk about Silver Dust on or no, I think that was Mike. Never mind. I was like, Silver Dust got third.
I like Silver Dust a little bit. What did he finished third, right?
He got third.
Yeah, he ran an okay race.
Has there ever been 2 races where second, third, and fourth meant nothing more than the 2 races we just saw at Churchill Downs, though?
The Belmont last week, but other than that,
okay, that's fair.
Hey, no, that meant a lot to us.
Okay, yeah,
that meant a lot to us.
Yeah,
that's fair. Fair on all accounts, both of you guys.
Did Multiplier was off the board completely, right?
He's fourth.
Yeah.
Okay.
He couldn't beat Axeman a week ago at Santa Anita.
And that's why I was curious to see. The only reason that gave me a slight bit of confidence was Tyler Gaffleon was getting a board for Peter Miller. I'm not saying to use the horse. I'm just saying that's why I was curious to know where.
That's Peter's main go-to guy when he goes to Kentucky with his horses is Tyler.
Yeah, because the last time Tyler was on him was at Kentucky Downs. He was on him
the Big
Kentucky
Cap,
Downs. Yeah, and then after that, he was on him again in the
Big Cap. That was the Kilroe Mile weekend, I think, because he was there got Stormy.
No, in the Santa Anita Handicap.
Yeah, the big cap. That's what I'm saying. The same weekend, big cap.
Same. Yeah. So that just would have inspired a little confidence. But you're right. If you can't beat Axeman, then you're not going to run here. But I was just curious to see where he finished.
Is that that is Al Stahl. Al Stahl is a lot younger than I thought he was. I thought he was like Barclay Tagg's age. Barclay Tagg's 82.
You really don't pay attention outside of California, do you?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you're missing like a 12.5 claimer at Los Al right about now.
Oh, boy.
This is the one time a year when there's 2 times a year when I check out of California. It's when they go to Los Al in the summer and Los Al in the winter. Although I will say, thanks to Aaron, and you were texting about this, how you hate Los Al. I played 2 win bets at Los Al. It was the TVG win insurance on races 6 and 8, and I think those are the only 2 that you got right on the free picks. But those are I played those 2, and they both cashed in. And neither one of them might have been favorite. The other one definitely wasn't the favorite. So thank you.
Yeah,
I had enough money to bet Tom Zaytat to win right now.
I think it was the 8th race. It was either the 6th or the 8th. We got a pretty good price home.
The 6th one, yeah, the 6th.
Okay,
yeah, the 8th.
It was
the
like
8th
a $20 winner, maybe $20. Maybe?
No, it wasn't that high. Don't go crazy. You weren't that good. But.
It was double digits, I think, though, right? It was
980. It was close. It was 980.
Well, that's not that good. I don't know what I'm thinking of then. We see Jared's dog. That's all we see now. Jared just left, and he's
well, we got to. I'll bring this up because we got a question from Joseph Thomas on Facebook. He said, even with Churchill announcing that fans can attend, do you think it'll happen? I do. Thistledown looked like a pretty packed house today for the Ohio Derby. So it's so hard once you say something's going to happen to then walk it back. Like you can say it's going to happen, and we have X, Y, and Z restrictions. But at this point, it's hard to just say you can have we're going to sell tickets and it's going to be a big thing, 2.5 months from now, and then walk it back. But what do you guys think?
These questions are really hard to answer because of the ever changing, stats that we get in on this thing. I think it was the right move to announce that they're going to try to do it. I wish they would have kind of said it like that, like, hey, we have to announce now that we're going to try to plan this. So if it can happen, we do have the protocols in place. I don't think I would have approached it as we will have fans at the Derby. I don't think that was the right way to do it. Listen, I think they're going to try their best. And I don't really think ultimately it's going to be up to them. I think it's going to be up to the health department in Kentucky and the powers that be in Kentucky and in Louisville. And if they give them the okay, they're sure as hell going to do it. And if they don't, then they're not. I mean, I think it's just as simple as that. If I had a prediction, listen, I'm sitting here right now and my town has like 180 new cases the last 2 days. So do I think there's going to be fans at the Derby? No, probably not. But,
I would say you bring up great points. The counterpoint I would make to that is that if you project out from when the spike first, at least coastally, the big first spike, the big first wave happened, you project 2 months out from that was the calm point. That was the calm before the storm that we are currently seeing, especially across the Midwest right now. But with 2 months to plan out, you would hope, I really hope that we knew 2 months from now, everything evens back out. But you bring up a good point. It may be saying definitively we're going to have it. Maybe that was a little too strong. But you also at some point have to, I'm sure they're getting bombarded constantly. How we get bombarded with questions about tracks. I'm like, I don't know. Ask the track. What do you expect us to know?
The worst thing, even whether it's horse racing, Twitter or not, just in life, is giving an answer to a question that you can't actually give the answer to. So just like Aaron said, we're going to have fans. It's not up to you. It's not up to Churchill Downs. It's up to Kentucky and the powers that be. So why would we give a definite answer when the only thing that you could do would be confirm? I'm so happy you brought this question up because then why would they give an answer 2 months away from now? You have no upside to do so. The only thing that you can do from here is go down, because if you continue to confirm, you're just staying on the same track. Yeah, we'll have fans. The only thing you can do at this point is walk it back. That's the only momentum you can gain. So there was no point in saying that. And now if there are no fans, it's going to be even worse because you said there were. So I didn't see the upside now. Wouldn't have seen it on July 4th. I wouldn't have seen it heading into Del Mar and Saratoga, even over the Keeneland meet. Wait as long as you can until you're about to sell tickets. 3 weeks out or whenever your deadline is and say, we're having fans when we have more of an idea 5 weeks from now. You don't need to do it at the end of June.
No, absolutely. That's well said. And that's just like, I don't know why it would have been so hard to say, here is what we're doing. We're planning for it, but we can't tell you for sure. But, we'll sell tickets to you. And if it doesn't happen, we'll refund them to you. We'll refund it. But here we are doing X, Y, and Z to make sure if we do get to do it, it's really, really safe. We're doing all these protocols. Probably would have been accepted by, well, no, I'm not going to go that far because people would still be mad no matter what they did. But a little smarter to do it that way. But yeah, I mean, look, who knows, right? I know Jared loves COVID, and so we'll let him comment. He's been quiet on it, so.
No, I don't.
Well, you guys have just gotten your first. You guys just got your first case 3 days ago.
I'm not going to piss anyone off because
that went so well on the podcast 2 months ago.
I've been living life the exact same way I've been living life like forever. I mean, other than like a month that we were on like, stay at home or whatever here in Springfield. But yeah.
See, Jared, I would actually argue that you are living a better life than you were 3 months ago. Like you are living a night and day better life than you were 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely improved. We'll save that for another day.
Yeah, ask the people on the East and West Coast how it's been going.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to. I'm like to say, I'm not getting into that. Like I understand that it's been shitty and it's tough for both you guys out there in the East, Ricky, and of course Magic in LA. But here, like I tell I don't mean any I don't want to lighten it at all. But when I tell people, it's like we don't think it exists here. Because that's how we kind of handle things here. It seems like in the Midwest. I did hear a rumor that there might be some that we might, because I know a lot of places. Are you guys requiring masks everywhere now, like East and West? Yeah, I've heard that's going to happen.
Except for restaurants, the people who work at the restaurants have to have it, and I think the waitresses, wait staff have face shields as well. But if you obviously you can't eat with a damn mask in your face,
right.
So usually, but you're just supposed to be 6 feet away from the next table.
Yeah. All right, let's real quickly here. We're 4 minutes away from the Just a Game.
Ooh, the Jag,
which is really the best race of the day. I mean, we've seen 2 amazing performances, but Uni versus Newspaper Record. 9-5, 1-2 on Uni, making her debut of the year since we saw her win. Very, very impressive win in the Breeders' Cup. So, what do you guys think? I mean, Newspaper Record, like we've established, you can get 7 furlongs. Let's bump it up to a mile. Which, by the way, a mile happens to be Uni's. I mean, we talked about blinkers off. She's one of the top milers in the world. She's definitely a top miler in the United States. Here she is, but Chad Brown entering Newspaper Record in this race against her off the short layoff is kind of telling too, right?
Magic, I want to kind of deflect this to you real quick, but you are a huge, if it rains, Newspaper of Record. You're huge on that, and a lot of people are, but you've been like the most outward spoken one of our group. What do you do here? Because they have this turf listed as firm, but it has rained. What do you think? What is okay, you're the big theory guy on this. What do you expect now? Because this is an odd situation.
Yeah, I go a little for insight for everybody who's not in our text chain. I go a little too crazy sometimes with trends and with things that I'm like, if for example, Newspaper of Record, if it's yielding, I'm like pound it. And if it's not, completely play against. I'd stick with it, honestly. I think as good as she was in that race, she also didn't beat anyone of the same caliber as Uni, at least last year's Uni. This is her first start, but we know Chad Brown can get them ready off of a long layoff. So, see, Blackjack Burner likes it because it's going to be, there was a little bit of rain, but if they haven't updated it, and this isn't Thistledown and Equibase that had that weird miscommunication the other day. This isn't a miscommunication issue, I don't think. If they're saying it's still firm, I mean, I heard a pretty sharp handicapper that I follow that isn't part of our group, one of the few, and he said that she likes a little bit of give. And I'm like, there's no little bit of give when it's yielding in America. That is like, that is some mushy, like you step in it with your boots and you go down half an inch kind of a thing. Like yielding has a lot of give to it. And if she's not getting a lot of give, send her as a rabbit. And I don't know. The reason Joel Rosario didn't ride Tom Zaytat, who almost broke the track record at Churchill Downs, is because he wanted to ride Uni. I don't see how you play anything better than Uni or anyone aside from Uni in this race. I really don't.
No, I agree. I mean, go ahead.
Well,
no, yeah, Aaron, you go.
Well, no, I was just
Something
gonna say it's odd because I think in America we try, I don't know, maybe overseas as well, we try to label courses as firm, as long as humanly possible, when sometimes they really aren't. And so
yeah, that's true.
This would be a good day if somebody could tell us the Belmont turf course. So
she's never won a race that hasn't been officially listed as yielding.
Okay.
She's ran twice only in her life out of 7 starts that was listed as firm, and she lost both of them. That was Wonder Again, Belmont Oaks. She did lose one time on a good surface rating in the Edgewood to Concrete Rose, but when it's been listed yielding, she is a perfect 4 for 4.
Yeah,
I forget what race we were there for. It was either Breeders' Cup or Breeders' Cup or Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks. I think it was Breeders' Cup. I think Jared was there, where they were listing the track as firm, like officially on the track feed. And then by the time that I would write the recaps and stuff, I was like, oh, it was yielding. Like we were standing in the rain, and it was like, oh yeah, the turf is firm. And we're like, there's no effing way possible that this is still a firm turf. So maybe you have that going on here.
Yeah, just for who I like. You have Klarovich, Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz at 8 to 5. You could sign me up for that. I don't care who the horse. The horse could be a $3,000 claimer. I'll sign up for that trio at any time. So especially, we're on the turf as well. I mean, there's just so many factors that lead that to the price. Again, if we're just making win wagers, obviously it's 4-6. But I think Uni at 3 to 5 off the layoff is not a price I want to be a part of.
Who was it the Arlington Million where Chad Brown had 2 horses? One of them was Bricks and Mortar, and the other one was a really strong looking horse. And Jared, I think you texted somebody on the inside and said, who do you think is better here? And it's like, and the response was, everyone knows who Chad wants to win, which is his top ownership, which is Seth Klarman, Klarovich Stables. So I think Ricky's onto something here with that.
That's why the 4 is not going to be a rabbit. It's a Klarovich owned horse. It's not going to be a rabbit.
That's true. It's not, who was it? Theus.
Blackjack, what's up, buddy? Blackjack joined us.
How we doing?
From Barstool. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
All right, man.
Who do you like in this race?
I like Newspaper of Record at Belmont. Like I said, I think Magic, you were talking about it. If there's rain, if it's yielding at all, that's where I'm going with that horse. I like the last race a lot, so we'll see.
She looks good so far.
Yeah, she looks really, really good right now.
Even money, and no one was going to let that trio get off at 8 to 5.
Yeah,
no one, and that's a steal.
That's a big jump. 8 to 5 even money is a big jump.
Yeah, I mean we're talking a lot coming in at the gate. I mean, she looks good. To be out by this much, I don't know, because Valedictorian,
right, and Valedictorian the lead chaser here.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a monster.
They're not going
effort.
crazy fast either,
Yeah, 48 and change.
Look at Irad's hands. I don't know where you're at in your feed, but he's got like half the rein in his hands still.
You're absolutely right.
Here comes the stablemate. Let's see how good she is.
I think Uni will go right by her, guys.
Yeah, she's looking pretty good. Here we go. Got a good stretch run here.
Time to go.
Ooh, that's gonna make it tough for Uni.
Yeah, good flow down right there.
Off the hedge right there.
Boy, Irad.
Oh, yep. That was a very good move by Irad.
Irad, man, I tell you, for my money, there is not a better rider in the country right now than this dude. He's a little dangerous sometimes, but I'm not betting against him.
Yep.
He's not going to hold on for a second, boys.
Look at Bo Recall. Nice effort from nice bounce back from Bo Recall. Yeah. She should have won that Churchill race, and that's a nice bounce back effort.
So who's better right now, Newspaper Record or Rushing Fall?
Oh, Rushing Fall.
Yeah,
I'd lean Rushing Fall as well.
Yeah.
Damn, that was impressive, guys.
Chad Brown would this horse wouldn't have been out there. It's a pretty quick comeback to run 3 weeks later. Chad Brown at 8 to 5 to go from 8 to 5 again. Not even if you are reading past performances, you go from 8 to 5 to even money, and you're just watching for the first time. They're smart money, whether it's horse playing or sports betting. They're smart money. It's a sharp play. And Uni off the layoff, it's a lot to ask off a red hot newspaper of record to come back and try to beat Chad Brown. Again, another Chad Brown runner with IRAD aboard. It's just tough.
So do you guys think, just for those that are watching or watch that race and maybe don't, know the way these jockeys ride and kind of the race tactics that go on, do you think that move by IRAD kind of making sure that Uni didn't swing out outside of her, did that win the race for? Did you think that stopped Uni's momentum enough to where she wasn't able to keep rolling?
It's hard to say that. I mean, she really flattened out. I thought when it happened, the answer was yes, because it's like she was rolling, and then IRAD just tips her out, and it's like, she had to hit the brakes. But at the end of the day, when a horse wins by this much, and Uni doesn't even get second, maybe she was going to flatten on her own. But I'm going to tell you, that was a hell of a move by IRAD Ortiz Jr. And if Uni does kind of re-rally, I think he still would have won.
I don't know if there's anyone better at playing defense on the lead than IRAD. I mean, he is willing to move around and just play some defense there in the front, like nobody else.
No, you're right.
There are people on Twitter who track that. There's one specific account that I can think of that tracks IRAD's riding and how he does that. And he doesn't always win. Like, that's the reason they track, is because they think there's something nefarious happening. Then none of us I don't think, are saying that. But
no,
I don't think Uni, to answer your question, I don't think Uni wins. I think Uni maybe gets second. I think she stopped enough that she had to try and go again. But the way that newspaper won that, that's not why Uni lost.
I think it's no. Go ahead. Was that?
Well, go ahead. I don't want to speak for any of you guys, but I would say I'm not. We all, I think, on here, we're definitely playing newspaper record no matter what bet you were using, because we thought, her ability plus the fact that it's been raining. No one's concerned here that Uni lost the way she lost off the layoff. Is anyone, or do you think that she's flattened out? You think that you expect her to run at least second there? What do you think?
I didn't like that performance.
I think it's tough. Sorry, Aaron. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say you referenced a layoff a couple of times, but you look at her past performances, that really hasn't been a problem. Now, to beat a horse like newspaper of record, you're right, but to not do any running in the stretch, I was a little turned off by what I just saw. I mean, sure, she could get better. Sure, maybe the turf, she likes a firmer turf course, but I didn't exit that performance and go, oh man, I can't wait to bet her up at Saratoga next out. We'll see what the field has when she enters again, but I didn't think that was a great performance, like a performance that could get you like, well, she lost, but it was a loose on the lead type of horse that beat her. It was, but she didn't fire, I didn't think.
I was surprised on Blinkers Off that you guys said, and I know she won the Breeders' Cup over the males, but I was surprised on Blinkers Off that you guys, at least Jared, I think, said that Uni was the best turf miler in America, and you're forgetting about Raging Bull in the Shoemaker Mile. So it's hard to. I know that she just lost, and Aaron wasn't impressed with her run right there, but I mean, where does Raging Bull enter the equation? That's another Chad Brown turf mile horse, and he said he's going to keep that horse at a mile. He's probably going to wait for the 4-star Dave next for that horse.
I think Ricky was still in his mom's stomach the last time Raging Bull won before that race, though. So that's kind of my deal. Like, oh, well, great. He went to California as an East Coast shipper and won. Wow, Magic. That never happens. So we should give him a ton of credit there. I think he's the best turf miler in the world for sure.
America, like you said on Blinkers Off, don't get carried away. There's European horses.
Anyway,
I just would like to beat Chad Brown on the turf. He doesn't even need to run on the dirt.
Good luck.
Last race was your time to beat Chad Brown on the turf.
Hey, Aiden O'Brien or Chad Brown on the turf? Who you got?
Aiden O'Brien. Oh my!
You see that today? In top 4.
Yeah.
Are we going 1 or 2 turns? If it's 1 turn, I want Chad Brown 8 days a week. If it's Aiden O'Brien going long, then I'll take Aiden.
I like that.
I'll still take Aiden. You run 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have 7. I think it was 7 out of 14 runners that he had. Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to make that. I great call though, in terms of if you just lined all their turfers up together, that would be one hell of a race.
Seriously, we've been in this game a long time. Top 10, no, top 2 moment maybe the whole time we've been here is talking with Aiden O'Brien in the tunnel.
before Mendelssohn.
Prior to Mendelssohn running in the Kentucky Derby, Justify obviously went on to win the Triple Crown, won that race. But talking to, I mean, and he was like very nice, like with me, Halterman, Slim, just talking to him. He talked back. I mean, just really just like, obviously Mendelssohn at that point was very highly regarded as possibly winning the Kentucky Derby. But no, that was definitely a cool moment to meet him and to talk to him. So we are, how close are we here? We are 5 minutes to post.
Yeah. I'm alive in this pick 6 here.
All right. So
that's a real hard pick 6 to try and win right now after the last 3 races too here. What
do you got live here?
I'm alive to 7 horses here. So I got 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 12.
How are the will pays here?
They're awful, but I mean, listen, the ticket was a $50 ticket, so I'm gonna make money on it.
Geez, even if the 5 hits, you're gonna make at least $3.
I need to.
What were they? 1, 3, 5.
1, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 12.
Magic, do you have the will pays?
Yeah, I'll go in order of the way he said it. 1 is 112, 3 is 248, 4 is 142, 5 is 53 and change, 1459. What was the rest? Sorry about it.
9, 10, 12.
9 is 186, 10 is 118, and 12 is 126.
I need the 3 here.
Yeah, let's go 3.
Any of those other numbers that you listed, other than the 5, you'll be fine.
The 9, I like the 9 a little bit. I mentioned that on Blinkers Off. I like the 5. I mean, it's been that kind of day, right? We talk about this, how sometimes that when the Stephen Fosters ran at night, you get all kinds of crazy ass results that don't make any sense. But it's been the opposite of that today, where you've had solid horses winning at low prices. So is the trend continue with the 5 here?
Let me ask you guys, because I feel like the 10 is getting slept on here at 10 to 1. Like I don't know if this horse can win this thing, but 10 to 1 on this.
Yeah, I agree.
With a Pharaoh trying turf.
Yeah, I mean this just feels a little nuts at 10 to 1.
There's one turf start. She has one turf start.
Did she? I thought she was it on. That's right. Her debut was on turf.
On debut, and that's the only thing that would be scary.
As a first start.
Yeah, I know. We're picking. I think this is. I think we could all agree this is a close race, and there's no standout. If we're almost looking like we talk about handicapping, we talk about what we are looking for. How about what we're not looking for in the one turn? I'm not saying Harvey's Little Goyle has no chance. I'm just saying that if we're looking at almost as a process of elimination. That's all I'm saying, because I just prefer others, but why she definitely has a chance for sure.
She's also from the same family as I'll Have Another.
Well, I think sometimes you see these horses, that young horses. We saw this earlier today in the Ohio Derby with South Bend, who finished second, where these horses will start on turf, maybe don't look extremely great, then they switch to dirt. Maybe they've grown, they've become a little bit better, just naturally been better. They get switched back to the surface that the trainer believes they're going to be best at, and they run really well. South Bend did run really well today in the Ohio Derby, finishing second. So that could be a case too with Harvey's Little Goyle, who obviously debuting on turf, like Magic says, American Pharaoh, which has been oddly enough has been a pretty good turf sire. And now they're like, obviously that was the plan. Belmont trained, so I mean, that was the plan from the get-go. Now we're back to the turf. So I definitely, like Blackjack said, at 10 to 1. I mean, I think that's a price because.
That's an overlay. That is definitely an overlay off of 5 to 1
borderline. 6 to 5.
I love the 5. I feel like the 5 was a very strong play. Grand Motion winning like that off the debut is pretty damn impressive.
Well, and Grand Motion's just been winning everything on the grass lately. I mean, he's been on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do like the 4 a tad. I don't know. Obviously, Blackjack has that included. The other speed in here, His Glory, I think we could throw out, and then the 9 Eve of War, Pletcher. I think the 4 might just sit off a tad.
Yep.
And might get a little bit of a jump over those deeper closers. And we're talking about where you want to be positioned on the track. Al Stahl, maybe he's looking for another one today. I don't know. Miguel Mena, another one. I don't know. That's another price because. We have to get to a point where Crystal Cliffs at even money. I'm looking elsewhere. I don't know if
she's 6 to 5 right now.
I just don't know if that's
crazy. Like
that's not a price.
I like the 5, but 6 to 5, there's no way.
Yep.
No.
Right, they've started loading in the gate mine.
I had two must uses here. One of them was Crystal Cliffs. The other one's the 12 past the plate. I think even though she's got that outside draw, I think because of how long, because it's 9 furlongs, I think because of how long that stretch is, that Julian Leperoux is going to be able to get her into a good position. She likes to come from the back, and I think we've got enough of a pace presence early here that at this point you're starting to look for which jockeys are going to work out the best trips. And I think that Julian Leperoux, who, by the way, this horse in her 2020 debut was third behind Sharing, who almost won at Ascot, and Abscond, who was a Grade 1 winner last year. I think if you're getting 7-1 on her as she goes in the gate here, I had 8-1. Wow, that's pretty good. 9-1. Geez, she keeps climbing as I talk.
Yeah. Because they keep pounding the 5. I mean, they bet the 5 like this horse can't lose. I think the 1 is the other value. I totally agree with the 10, and I think the 1 is the other horse that shouldn't be as high odds.
Oh, yeah, you like Domingo a lot. Didn't you put her on top?
Yeah, I have Domingo on top, so.
And you can forgive that. I mean, it was her first start of 2020 last out in the Tepin, so.
Right, yeah. So, all right, here we go. I mean, was that the most boring break you guys have ever had?
Nothing about the reaction.
Nobody fell. Nobody was slow. Nobody was Serengeti Empress out of there. It was just, everybody broke. Nine's going to take the lead here.
Here goes 9.
Eve of War.
Mine got a better trip this time, but
here's the thing about Eve of War is that the 2 times that she's broken well, she's won, and her number. We said that's the Magic Mike show. Her numbers when she breaks well would beat this field. But could you trust her?
Anna's getting a perfect trip.
Yep.
Well, hey, guess who's riding her, guys? Flo. He knows how to get a horse on the lead.
Yep.
He's got a good hold on her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's just like with newspaper. There's a lot of rain in those hands right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 sitting the trip though.
9-10 finishing with the 5 anywhere would be fine for me.
I'd be happy with that.
5 underneath, that'll pay well too. Yeah.
Well, even if the 5, let's root for the 5 not to win for blackjack. But I mean, you can create value with the 5 if you get a 17-1 and 11-1.
Sure.
In there with
Ooh, look at Harvey.
Look at
Harvey's.
Looks great. Harvey looks great right now.
Matt, blackjack has to look good or feel good right now.
I feel good right now. I do.
I
need some deep.
Oh boy, this is gonna be an all-out sprint to the finish here.
Come on, Tim, finish.
This is why I love turf races. 8 wide off the
turn.
Box that 5 in. Keep him boxed in.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Oh, no. Don't let him through. Don't let him through.
Run.
Hold on.
Come on, Harvey. Come on, Harvey. Come on, Harvey. Baby. Stick in there, Harvey.
Hold on, baby.
Put you in the scrub. Dude.
All right.
Yeah. I got it.
There
Good job, Blackjack.
Blackjack, my man.
That is a $118 pick 6 right there.
That's it, man.
Hey, that's a hell of a ride by Martin to keep that horse from coming up on the inside.
Yeah.
It was a good ride. It was a good race. That horse ran really, really well.
Listen, that horse that was great value on that horse at what, 11-1?
Hey.
Went off that 10-1, 11-1.
Yep.
That was well-timed analysis by us for leading into this race.
It's really good value on that horse. But I will say, if Irad was on that horse, it would not have been that close because he would have boxed that 5 out.
He would have gone right-handed so much until he was on the rail.
He might have put the 5 over the rail. Yeah. It would not have been that close.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit.
I want to comment on Ricky's 4 horse. That horse ran really well for third, too. Just wasn't quite as good as the top 2, but ran a good race.
Yeah, see, I don't think, maybe you guys thought differently, but I didn't see Harvey's Little Goyle getting that start. And I just think from the beginning of the race, there was once she was running like that, you had an idea that she was going to factor in late because the other horses that I was talking about, the 2 Cheap Speed never even got there. So I thought that would maybe set it up, but Harvey's Little Goyle did well and Martin Garcia ran beautiful. That was perfect.
We have a comment. Wise Dan hit the exacta for $15. The $2 exacta is going to pay $79. So that's a good exacta for Dan.
That's almost as good of an exacta as he would have had at Thistledown.
Whoops.
This guy had some prices today, man.
Well, so Wise, for people who don't know, Wise Dan, his dad owns and bred the horse that won the race before the Ohio Derby, and Dan had been talking to both Aaron and I separately all week about the horse. And then going into it, he seemed like he was going to bet it. And then I asked him, I said, "Oh, did he won? Did you hit it?" And he said, "No, I didn't bet him. I was going to do a straight exacta that would have paid $1,700, but I chose not to."
Jesus, I'll tell you, listen, That's a really nice day. I mean, I've been happy today. I had Dean Martini in the Ohio Derby.
Nice.
And the double to back it up. So I've been then this amazing pick six. But Charlestown's got a mandatory payout tonight
That's right.
on their pick six. And they're expecting over $1 million in that pool with 12% takeout. So we're not done.
Yeah, no, Charlestown definitely. That's a good place to bet right now. Those takeouts are really low on the pick five. So yeah, it's listen, that's the only pick six they paid out today, Blackjack, and you got it. It's better than losing, right? So
that's it, man.
I mean,
I'll take it, and I'm putting it over into Charlestown, and we're going to try to take that down. Who knows?
Yeah, now you have a bigger ticket.
That's it. That ticket just got a little bigger.
Like $20 bigger, but still.
That's the real money. I love it. That's great.
Dude, Halterman, aren't we live on these pick fours and pick fives at Belmont?
Yeah, we had the pick 4 and 5 there at Churchill. We didn't have the pick 4, 5, and 6, and then we are live at Belmont as well. Yes.
So we've got the 6, 8, 9, 11 here in the last on these pick fives. The
Whoa.
6, 9,100.
Oh, for $1, yeah. Wow, I didn't realize these payouts were going to be this.
Oh, they're going to be astronomical. The 8 and 9 are 82 and 9.8. And then the 11 is sitting there at 10-2.
Okay. Well,
we need to get these horses home in this last race at Belmont Park.
Yeah,
So
You didn't use the 3.
What do
Interesting.
you guys need? Sorry, can someone repeat that just so I?
6, 8, 9, 11.
The key to this, now that I look back, is like, how in the hell is it paying that? Because the pick fours aren't paying anything. Well, the key I forgot about, Victim to Love.
Yep.
Victim of Love, who won. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I threw out the 3, which probably, we'll see what happens. But I really liked Montauk Summer in here. I thought this horse might go off close to the favorite. So
I'm with you, Aaron. I think the first timer here is going to be tough. I mean, Clement's been incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and
he and Grand Motion, as soon as the cheaters got taken out of their circuits, man, they're firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, and it's a race to me. I like to do this a lot. When you look at the field that started in these maidens, whether it's a special weight or a claimer, in this case a claimer, and go, I just don't like anybody that's ran. So if you got a first timer, good barn, got a good jock up, and it's like, yeah, if they're any good, they could probably win. So I took a shot on top. I don't know.
You know what's crazy is how vastly different these pick 4 and pick 5 wheel pays are, considering the fact that we had that, the one massive prize that kicked off the pick 5. You're looking at Montauk Summer, for instance, pick 4 that's going to pay $120, and the pick 5 pays $9,800.
A lot of people after the 5, they just re-hopped in with the same picks, and that's you're not even handicapping again, and that's why Magic Mike, you guys have talked about it. You're just rolling it back. So I think that's as opposed, that's why a lot of people on the big day, they're like, we lost leg 1, let's just hop back in. We don't have to recap. Let's just throw it back into the 4s, and I think that's why it's probably why it's so low, because they just went with the same thing.
Yeah.
I missed the what was the vagrancy that Come Dancing lost. What happened in that race? Do you want to recap it real quick?
Yeah, so basically what happened was they turned for home, and Victim of Love was on the lead, and she was kind of drifting out a little bit, and Come Dancing went to the inside, looked like she was going to go by, and then Victim of Love just said no, re-rallied, and won by like 3 or 4 lengths. Royal Charlotte was a horse I thought would run pretty well, didn't run a step basically, and Come Dancing, I mean, I thought she was going to win in the stretch when she makes the inside move and just kind of stopped. It's hard to explain. Pacific Gale was another one, just kind of ran in place in the stretch, got 3rd, I think, but it was not a great race. Let's put it that way.
So should they have, because the original plan with Come Dancing was to retire her at the end of last year. And I remember before the Breeders' Cup. Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, because before the Breeders' Cup, I remember being talking to Carlos Martin and being in the barn he had at Santa Anita, and he was very emotional about this is the last time I'm ever going to saddle her. So you think that should have been the last time they ever saddled her?
Well,
I still wonder what the hell they were doing in the Apple Blossom.
ruining a good horse, I think, is what they were doing. Because
Remember when she was the morning line favorite?
Yeah,
well,
there was
oh my
no
God.
way I'd play that horse at all.
7-2, I think.
But
we've already established on these shows Willie the bathroom attendant makes the morning lines at Oakland. So it was really no surprise that Willie made her the favorite. But the thing about what happens when you have a horse that is a sprinter and you run her in a 2-turn race way over her head right off of a layoff, it kind of ruins them a little bit. And maybe that was the race that, that ruined her, because if you watch the replay of that race, she kind of starts to run on the turn and then she hits the wall that sprinters hit when they go too far, and she stopped. And so this race here, she comes again, she's right there, and it's like she hit the same wall, but she was going her distance today. So it was discouraging on a horse that I like. I mean, I that race up at Saratoga, I can't remember, last summer, where she broke terribly. I don't know if you guys remember this, and it's like, oh, she's going to lose this race.
Oh yeah,
she won by
The
like
ballerina.
8.
The ballerina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had a comment from Derek that asked, said that how good this was and how fun this is, and we're gonna, this is a new platform we're using, and we're gonna do this a lot.
First time.
First time, and it's
Broke our maiden.
It's
Yeah.
that's
Locked
it.
our chair.
An hour and a half, and we haven't had any mess ups. Knock on wood. So
No.
No dick pics either.
We're the Magic Mike show. Who obviously, Magic is in LA. Tomich is in North Carolina. Those guys, opposite sides of the country. They're going to start using this. I think. I don't want to talk for them.
No, yeah. I was gonna jump in when you finish, but I'll do it now. The plan for Mike and I is just to start live streaming our recordings, and then it'll be in this fashion. So I'm really glad to see it work out so well, and we had people show up. We usually record at a little after 2:30 West Coast, 5:30 East Coast, Mondays and Thursdays, but it's just one more way to try and get the information out to you guys, especially because people aren't in their cars nearly as often as they used to be. So having a podcast format, we're trying to see how else we can, bring you a show. And I mean, I personally, as someone who's been listening to Blinkers Off for over 4 years now, I would love to see you guys just stream your stuff. Like if there's a case when Aaron can't make it to Jared's house or vice versa, I'd love to see you guys stream it live, because it was always fun. The few times that you guys did it, it was a lot of fun. You should keep doing it.
Well, this is thank you. It does make it easier now, this platform, because we are live streaming right now currently on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and so it's very handy to do. We don't have to do anything other than just start going. So yeah, even when we're together, we could do this. It's easy because it's recording your audio as well. But yeah, the Magic Mike show, we'll do this. We'll try to do this as often as we can, where we have all the guys on here. I don't know. I mean, appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing this. It's just, I mean, we're all watching the same shit anyways. You might as well hop on here and talk, right?
That's it, man. That's it.
You don't need to listen to the track announcer, especially if this was like an Oakland race that we were looking at. You don't need the track announcer. So let's just watch it silently, and then you can listen to us, bullshit. Because I'll be honest, we could say the dumbest things in the world about how there needs to be like a Midsummer Derby open for males and females. It's still better than what you're going to get from the Oakland feed.
Fair enough.
I do, as we were talking about the vagrancy, and obviously so being so close to Belmont, the rain hit literally as it came. And I'm not saying Come Dancing would or wouldn't have won. I'm just saying it literally, and it stopped about 5. If you kept watching a track feed, it stopped about 10 minutes later. Yep. So it was just really, really bad timing to try to make up any ground. So, and that's why the pick 5, if you had it, the pick 5 prices are, hopefully, if you're alive, you're reaping the benefits of that.
Yeah. No, it poured down rain. Like it got worse as they were coming around the turn. Like they make the turn, it's like I can't even see them hardly anymore. Yeah,
it was so bad that during the race, I actually pulled up the radar out there at Elmont. I was like, holy shit! And then it's like a tiny little blip, and then it was done. So
yeah, it was coming down for a little while. I thought they'd go off the turf.
Blackjack, I got a question for you, because I've seen you handicap all different tracks around the country. Are you like me, where you have like those cities where the tracks are at on your phone on the weather app? Like, so you're
100%. For the longest time, the first thing that would pop up on my Weather Channel app was Hallandale Beach. It was the first thing that would pop up. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I've got like 12, and it's like, okay, let's see what it's doing in Arcadia. Okay, let's see what's doing in Hallandale. What's Oldsmar,
If somebody had a hold of your phone that wasn't in horse racing, like say even like your wife looked at it and she was like, who are you talking to in Oldsmar, Florida? Where is that? Why are you looking? You're like, no.
It's very confusing to explain to people who don't know anything about horse racing.
Yeah.
Or why is Arkansas? Why do you have Arkansas on your phone? I'm like,
yeah, Oakland. Yeah.
For 4 months out of the year, Hot Springs, Arkansas that's the place you got to.
I need to know what's going on there.
Yeah.
8 months out of the year. But 4 months, man.
And we can speak to Jared and I can speak to Hot Springs. The forecast is never correct at Hot Springs. They never get it right. So you're wasting your time.
I'll delete it right now. Thanks.
You need to go and Oakland has like an old school live cam that they've got just up on the top of the building. Just look at the live cam and look what it's doing. That's your best forecast for Oakland.
It's on YouTube because I've watched races before. Like it'll be like a Thursday there, and I'll just put it on, and then because it only focuses at the top of the stretch, so it doesn't move. So you just see like in the middle of a race. If you remember, go look on YouTube. You can just see them all come around, and they all disappear. Like yay!
Yeah.
With just a few minutes who does anyone have a top choice or a price that they like here? There's getting close to the gate.
Y'all know mine. Go ahead.
I'd go with the 3 just because without even looking at PPs, it's the factor, it's the turf, it's not a great price in this kind of field with maiden claimers, but at least based off of pedigree and David Donk's a pretty good trainer in New York. I've learned that from reading Ricky's Rockets. So
I'm going to take the 9 to win. I think you're getting a good price there at 5-1 with Clement and Rosario. First time starter here. I don't think any of these horses were all that impressive in their previous starts. So I'll take a shot with the first timer.
Yeah. So Jared, did you want to, before I went, did you want
No, I mean, I actually agree with Blackjack there. In this kind of race, I would like the 9 anyways, just because I agree, like nothing overly impressive coming in. And now you've got a horse that's sitting at 5-1. You got Clement, you got Rosario. I'll take the 9.
So the 3 winning factor, 0 for 13. So that's not a like. But if you watch, but wait. If you watch last race, Luis Cardenas in the stretch went from the rail to about the 3 path, hopped off the horse, got back on, got back to the rail, finished third by a quarter in a lane. If Luis Cardenas stays on the horse, he would have already broken his maiden. So it says inside at the 6, clipped heels and traffic. That's being kind.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell do you mean he got off the horse? I thought you were exaggerating, but you were being serious. He
hopped off the horse. It was one of the crazy, and the fact he was even able to maintain his balance and continue to gain ground, I thought alone just speaks to the athleticism of these jockeys. But it's a 0 for 13. That's the part you have to get over. But if you're just looking at the trip,
Ricky, that's a great point. And LaDuca always likes to tell me when we're looking at races like this, he will always bet the horse that's 0 for the least. Like when you're looking at 0 for 13, 0 for 8, 0 for 5, 0 for 8, 0 for 13, 0 for 13, and you've got one firster in here, I'm going to take the firster.
Yep. It's not Los Al where a 29 race maiden suddenly jumps up to twice the price tag and wins like we saw yesterday.
Right. Well, my rebuttal and why I didn't put the 3 on top, my rebuttal to you, Ricky, is okay. That was that was his excuse for that race. What about the other 12?
The previous 12.
No, I'm not making excuse for that horse. I'm just, because you're right. If you look at the other 12, however you want to look at it, there's no excuses. I'm just saying before that race, then I'm not even having the discussion. But now if I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, okay, he gets to the Belmont turf. He was at Gulfstream, Finger Lake, Saratoga. I'm just saying maybe something clicked in the ride. Obviously, you're now on Jose Ortiz, and I don't like the price at 5-2. I'm just saying that to back Magic, the comment is kind. It's way worse than the comment described. That was just the point I was getting at. But 0 for 13 is like, you have to move on to at some point.
I usually pass on those horses. So
I don't have him, so he's definitely going to win this race by 3 or 4.
Who was it? One more time, Aaron. Who did you need? Because I'm not betting, so this is what I'm rooting for.
6, 8, 9, 11.
Cool. Blackjack, are you alive to anything in here, or was that just Churchill?
No, I just got the 9 straight.
9. Well, all right, let's get the 9 home then.
Let's just
Anybody have a problem with the
fine.
9? Let's get it home.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
That was also David Donk's first race with him as well.
Oh. Well, now we're talking, Ricky. Why didn't you tell me this last night?
David Donk second off the barn change. That's like 100% according to Ricky's Rockets. I
No,
read that.
no.
I read that yesterday.
I just took the 3. Let's see what happens. Okay.
All right, let's do this.
You guys are ahead anyway, so
The
That's
3's
about
gonna win. 3's gonna win.
I would.
No, 3 just nope.
Oh, that's good.
I would take
That's
the
good.
W here too.
Oh, Jesus, the 6 almost. What happened there?
Yeah.
This is. Remember the Churchill race? We're like, that's a boring break. This is not a boring break.
No,
this
this is
is
not.
a wild.
It was a
one.
boring break. It was not a boring 6 steps later.
Slightly low caliber horses here.
well,
Right.
the way this course at this distance on the outside, you have to go. Otherwise you're going to get shuffled because
Which
it's
is what
so
you see
tight.
from the 11 right there.
Because it's so tight. That's why I'm always so hesitant with the outside horses because they really need to get over quick.
Well, I mean, the
Feeling pretty
quarter was
good.
25 and 2. I mean,
11 gate to wire. It's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
You want to talk about slow quarters?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Come on, 11.
Jeez, 50 and 3. Remember, what was it that the mile and a quarter race? We were like, okay, that's sensible. This is the same fractions, and then they're going a lot shorter.
I like where the 9's at though too.
yeah, I do too.
Nine's
Yep.
in a good spot. One
6
time,
is running.
6 works.
6 is fine now, but the 6 almost straight in the air, trying to get off of heels there.
Can the 3 just not get through right here? Because you got run. Come on.
Yeah, that 3's got horse if he can find a room. If he can find
Yeah.
a home.
Yeah, but that 3's not getting through. That's
3's through.
Oh shoot!
Whoa.
Sorry,
Oh,
right after I
3's
said
gonna
it,
win.
there goes the 3.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
So I'll speak for Mike Somich and say factor on turf.
yeah, exactly.
Somich is going to sit there and go, "Told you."
The jock change was huge there.
Well, yeah, you got the upgrade. As acrobatic as Ricky made the last rider sound, you're getting Jose Ortiz aboard. It's hard to not count that as an upgrade.
Yeah,
There are just some times when you have to look at a race replay and then try to match you almost have to sometimes write your own comment and see if it matches up. And that's what I did, because the comment, when you look at the comment and there's that much there, you have to watch the replay. You have to see why, because there's too much sometimes that's a comment that's almost like discouraging. So that's why you can't look at every race replay, but you could look at that. So that's why I landed at the 3 as the top choice, but it's 0 for 13 is tough to make an argument for as well.
you're brilliant. What can I say?
No, I'm not, but there was just a lot of upgrade. Donk second time, Jose Ortiz. I wish we had this conversation last night.
Yeah, it'd be really nice.
Yeah.
if you talk to me.
Before it goes off at 5-2. Yeah,
Little young prick up there just doing whatever he wants, not talking to me.
he does that. Ricky, he does that to me sometimes. I'll text him. I'm like, yeah, I like this horse at 8-1 at Santa Anita because of this. And he goes, well, thanks for telling me right after the race is done.
Yeah, he's mad because I'm like a third of his age.
Ooh.
I'm like 12.
What, dude?
He's like 36.
Halpern, what's so sick about that is the 3 goes off as a favorite is 5-2 and wins. I mean, impressively, and that pick 5 paid $8,400.
What are you gonna do? Hit him tomorrow.
With
That's
Chad
the only
Brown
race
winning
we
a
missed
grade
all
1
day.
on turf.
So, I mean, I can only handicap how I handicap. Yeah,
That's a very typical Mike Somich beat right there. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's how he loses for sure. Yeah,
The 5-2 favorite is what knocks him out. Goes 4-5 and would have been a huge cash. So
But
He would have had that one, though.
He would have had it because it's a factor on turf.
Yeah.
That's like an almost must use for him.
Before we go, let me pull up his sheet. I bet he had that horse on top because it's the factor on turf. Let's see.
Well, I think while Aaron looks that up, I think it'd be fun if we talked about just like who we thought had the most impressive performance. For me, I think it might be almost unanimous, but for me, it's definitely be Tom Satat. What about you guys?
Ooh, see, I think I would say Midnight Bisou, just because
It was
Sarah the Empress got the race that she wanted, right? Like when you
Great
watch
point.
Sarah the Empress and she's alone on the lead like that, it's usually over. And Midnight Bisou didn't necessarily get the greatest break, was around 5th or 6th to start. And man, when she turned it on, it was over. I mean, it was over at the top of the stretch.
It's a great point.
it's tough for me to pick between those two. Obviously, those are the two, right? The 2 Breeders' Cup races. the two powerhouses came in, they did their thing. I think I would lean towards Tom. It's close. Tom just was so good because I just think he's like it because it from when Midnight won, it was like, all right, well, she's got to go to the Classic. That's got to be the focus. And then
Tom's did that.
Tap the brakes. All right, just a second here.
Yeah,
be really interesting to see what these numbers come back as. Tom, I mean, they're both. I mean, it's a split for me. Tom, I guess I would lean towards, but I get like we're all handicappers, and it's one of those days where I mean, you did make some money with your plays, blackjack, but it's like it's one of those down. It's like there's something to be said about these kind of days when you get to see, like we talked about before you hopped on here, where it's like you get to see the best horses that we have, and they go out and just kill a field, and it happens to be like you know, if she does point to the distaff, she's a top distaff horse. And probably at this point, not probably, is the top Classic horse. So
yeah, I mean, I think she's got. I think you saw the top two horses for the Breeders' Cup Classic today. I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, I love Tiz the Law, but it's going to take a considerable amount of improvement for him to hang with either one of those two.
Yeah,
I just want to give a shout out to Newspaper of Record, just because again, I love Klarovich, Chad, and Irad, but maybe she's just taken that step as a 4-year-old. Maybe it just she just looks different right now. So obviously I don't think it outshined what was going on at Churchill today, but she's got some more things coming that I just wanted to a close third. I know Magic does his stars of the weekend, but don't forget about Chad on the turf. Before you let that out to the public, don't forget about Newspaper of Record, because no one saw Newspaper of Record beating Uni like that. If even if she was going to win, no one said Uni's going to not even show up. Like Aaron said, I thought that was a disappointing performance. I know it was obviously off the layoff, but that was not what we were expecting. I think that's fair.
Santanita's not running today because he would have thrown in a Santanita horse in the third star, no doubt. And would have left off Newspaper of Record because he would have thrown in the other two first. I guarantee.
I texted him a couple weeks ago and I said, "How did you?" And they were like all Santanita horses, and I was like, it could have been a 30,000 maiden claimer 0 for 40, and that horse would have made the first star, not second or third star. That would have been the top star.
It's all about how you spin it, because I could have spun a 30 race maiden winning. I could have spun that so well. That's how I listen. Aaron signs off on all my 3 stars. I almost really effed up last weekend's. I don't know. Looking back at it, I'm like, I don't know how I almost effed that up so bad.
He did not sign off the Santa Anita 3 stars that weekend. He did not sign. He did not. He must have been away from his phone.
So I've got 4 things. I keep adding up things as you guys are talking. I've got 4 things. Number 1, I'll get to it real quick. Mike Somich had winning factor on 1 ticket within the sequence, and he suggested 4. So he went against his own strategy there. I thought that was interesting. So Magic has taken over the 3 stars. I did those for however many years, and I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I gave it to Magic, and he was going to make Tiz the Law of a 2nd star. That I was just last week.
I wasn't.
You were. You totally were.
On,
and you were going to leave Gamine off as well. So that was just like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen going forward. I may have to take it over
because I loved Alexandra so much. That's why I was very excited about Alexandra.
Gamine off.
Yeah, he had Gamine off.
A 1-turn mile versus a bunch of schlubs. Okay,
yeah,
she
won
by 19 lengths. Good job. I could have won that race.
You can't win a race by 18 lengths and not have a top 3.
Grade 1 fastest acorn in the history.
A potential. We're talking a potential now also facing the boys, but Magic was going to leave her off.
I'm looking for the text right.
No surprise.
Let me find the text. So that's really bad for me.
It was in the top 3. I knew that was going to happen.
Who?
So while he tries to make up a story to make himself look good, the third thing, it's really tough to say who was the best, Tom's Yatat or Midnight Bisou. I guess I'll go Tom today, but maybe projecting forward Midnight Bisou, because we didn't see like anything we just saw her in a paid workout basically. So I don't know, but Tom today was really impressive. I guess I'll go with him because the way he kind of just got up and was forwardly placed and still able to just crush them. I thought that was really impressive. One more thing. My dad texted me. He's watching Lone Star right now. I flipped it over to Lone Star real quick. The 6th race at Lone Star, number 2, Lacey Boss, first-time starter for Steve Asmussen. Check out that 2-year-old. She looks really good.
Give it to me. Okay. All right.
Yeah. 6th race, Lacey Boss.
I would like to compete. Like, who loves the smaller ass tracks more, Blackjack or Alterman?
Oh, Lone Star is my favorite track. I love Lone Star. The Texas circuit is my best circuit.
There you go.
Sam Houston, yeah. Yeah, you love Sam Houston. So
talking about those 2 big dogs, like it'll be interesting to see. We talked about it earlier with Midnight. Kind of seems like this year she's going to really evolve into the Breeders' Cup as a perfect kind of final. Point there with Asmussen, you know that's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see. Whereas, she seems like she's got more peaking to do. Can he stay at the level he's at right now? Because he's obviously peaking. I get that it's early in the year and he's only making his 2nd start of the year, but gosh, I mean, for a horse that just has never looked better, can he keep him at this level?
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. All right, I found it. I was debating between Tiz the Law and Alexandra first. That's a screw up.
I mean,
I never said I was leaving Gamine off. I just said that I was definitely going to put her 3rd.
Wait, you were debating between Tiz the Law and Alexandra for the top star?
Yeah.
Because I thought that who Alexandra beat was a lot more impressive than who Tiz the Law beat.
Okay, listen, I'll give you that. It was a much better field, but still, no,
you're right. You're right. Bring it on. I brought this up so you could all poop on me. Come on, bring it on. I deserve it.
Ricky, do you want to do 3 stars?
No.
Yeah, Ricky, do you want to do 3 stars?
No, I just want to have input. If we're gonna allow those Gamine to be off, so there needs to be a voting process.
She was
she's gonna be 3rd.
Let me backtrack. If Tiz the Law wasn't going to be 1, then we need to have a voting process.
Okay.
Because there's too much. Magic's getting all the power, and the Belmont winner's not number 1.
It really shows how biased you are on the West Coast because you have Tiz the Law in the league. Like obviously you're a major Tiz the Law fan.
Huge Tiz the Law fan.
So it's like you actually were still going to take that horse off of the one for
Alexandra.
Yeah.
I had left your house, Jared, and I saw that text, and I about had a wreck. Like I was just like, I can't take it. We've been on air for like 6 hours that day. I can't take his shit right now.
The literal text he sent back was one word, just dude. I said, here's what I'm thinking about, and all I got back was dude. And I said, okay, how about this version?
You should be happy you got any response back.
Actually, yes, Aaron, I'm very happy I didn't kill you. So that would have been very sad.
Let me tell you this. It's still worth me not having to write him. So he can do
So let's decide it as a group here, live streaming on StreamYard. We got Tom first, Midnight, like 1A, and then Newspaper of Record.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, he feels more comfortable in the element when 4 other people get to.
I think that's probably it. Yeah.
Honestly, it's Blackjack. The Blackjack's input is what matters to me here. The rest of you, I deal with you guys all the time, but his opinion.
That's the way it should be.
Well, we didn't see the rest of Los Al. I want to know what 20,000 claimer has a chance to make the top
soy
3.
fat stakes is later tonight. You watch your mouth.
That's right.
That is true.
3.5 hours from now, baby. The soy fat stakes.
No. I think it's about to come up. Actually, it's
what race is it?
It's the 8th race. They're on the 7th now.
So around 7:30.
Shoot. Okay.
We'll see if Take the 101 or Galeen. Galeen's in that race.
Galeen,
you love him.
yeah.
So.
Well, it's rare that you find a $600,000 purchased Calbred, which he's barely a Calbred because he's by Uncle Mo. So
right,
yeah, he's a Calbred in spirit only.
On Newspaper of Record, on a serious note, I guess Diana, right? That's the next. Is that the next spot? Or do we think, because off the quick layoff, I mean,
I'd say fourth.
This was off this right. Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys, because she has 2 races in the month. Do you just continue that momentum, or do you want to now sit off? Because if you are sitting off, realistically, you might not be running her at Saratoga. I don't know. What would you? I can't see Chad Brown making the case to Klarovich with Irad on a horse that's on fire, saying, I don't think Saratoga's our spot. I just can't see that conversation going on.
I'm with you. I don't see that either.
I mean,
no way.
There's no
I'd
way
like to,
on a Saratoga. Like no.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I guess Magic said 4-star Dave. Where are you guys? Or I just think the Diana would be the logical next spot.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it now. It's August 23rd. You're giving her time as well because that's on the back end of the Saratoga. I just think that's very logical. And then depending on that, then maybe you can wait. You have some time there. But I just think the Diana would probably be the most logical spot.
But so then, if you're gonna stay with the Diana, stay with the Diana. If you think that's where she goes, mile and 8th, are you playing her?
Ooh, the distance is the big question there.
I would. First of all, I'm already biased. I would say yes, just because
I'm in the fridge.
Just because if she's a horse that obviously likes to be out front. A, I'm not doubting Chad. B, I think she's already taken a step up this year. And off that layoff, we're talking. If assuming she's not running until then, we're talking what 7, close to 8 weeks, whatever, almost 2 months. She'll be ready. She should be ready for that race. So I would say yes if there's nothing in between and her workout patterns are consistent. So I would say yes.
I mean, I think you got to look at the long-term, 7 to 10 day forecast and make your decision based on that, right?
Ooh,
I mean, what weekend is going to rain?
You're not wrong. I mean, the horse runs better with a little bit of water on the ground.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's fun to think about. Sister Charlie, what about that horse? That's another one that's out there.
She's working too. Her workouts say that she's ready to go. They just need a spot for her.
She kind of likes to win that Diana up there at Saratoga as well. So, I mean,
yeah. Do you want to wait that long? That's the question mark, because do you want to wait that? Do you want to wait that long? Because I don't know if Chad wants. I don't know if they want to do that.
Well, does I don't have the stake schedule. Does Belmont have one more stakes, like a 2-turn turf stakes that she could enter?
I'll pull it up. I'll see.
I'm trying to think. Is the Flower Bowl at Belmont usually?
Yeah.
Or is that okay?
No, yeah, it is.
Is it?
That's
Is it that or Saratoga?
No. He asked if it was at Belmont.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
one thing, guys, you're missing that Arlington Million day. So there's some big races right there. You're not going to get.
Yes, you are right.
Boy, that would suck too. That CDI screwed them out of getting the Arlington Million Day. That's the one time a year where I look at Arlington, and that's such a great day of racing.
So that comment I just posted up there, July 2nd. Los Al, Cezanne.
It's interesting. I heard so Cezanne actually had a slight setback with when in the middle of the workout pattern after that maiden race. So that doesn't surprise me, because Uncle Chuck's going to the Los Al Derby. 1,000 Words apparently is working really well. When we thought he was probably completely done, he's working well, and it's going to be at the Los Al Derby. But Cezanne, I heard, he got a setback. So the fact that he's entering him back in a 7-2 or a race on 7-2 is actually, that's good to see. But it's why he's there and not the Los Al Derby.
I mean, Magic, have we ever heard of a Baffert horse not working well? I mean, right?
Yes. I can name you two.
They're always working well.
I can name you two, and I was right about both of them. At the Breeders' Cup going in, I said 8 Rings was working out poorly, and what was her name? Bast. I said play against those two. They're both working out terribly.
His horses this year that he's got left, they just don't do anything for me. Cezanne.
Uncle Chuck?
No, Uncle Chuck, authentic. You can have all of them. I'm done with them.
You literally can have authentic, because my racehorse is going to have shares of them.
That's right. That's right. You can get some authentic. I'm done with all of them. I had no use.
I'm interested in I'm not interested in authentic. I am interested in what Uncle Chuck does. I thought he was pretty good.
Boy, the talent's there, but can you trust him to stay healthy with that breeding?
I don't know, but I'm kind of, guys, I mean, really, to Blackjack's point, isn't it kind of Honor AP and Tis the Law and everybody else at this point?
It sure as hell feels like it. I mean, we went through the futures yesterday that are out. And I mean, Honor AP at 7-1 feels really good. But after that, I mean, what are you looking at? King Guillermo at 35-1. I mean, what are we talking about here?
I think that you need to look at I'm not an exacta player, and I think you need to look at exactas. I think if you can find an overlay on the horse to finish second, I was talking, one of our followers brought up Enforceable was 50-1. I've got him on fantasy league. I don't think Enforceble's got a shot in hell of winning the Kentucky Derby, but to have him be like a looking at Lee type when the dude's cashed really well on that trifecta because he got second. If you get a super short price on top, whether it's Tizzle or IP, if you get an Enforceable like horse to close for second, I put $5 each on that. I went Tizzle on IP first, Enforceable second. It's going to pay out like $400 or $500 for.
No, I'm with you. I think there's definite value in the exotics. I just think on top, I don't know. This feels like a 2-horse race. Yeah, if they're healthy.
Yeah, let's hope they both get there. Yep, let's hope.
That's why we don't play futures on the Racing Dudes team.
Well, in all honesty, though, I think if they both get there, that's going to be one hell of a race. I like one of the better matchups we've seen. It's going to be really good. But can they get there? That's the question.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We only have a few months left.
We got 2.5 months, boys. We're almost there. 2.5 more months.
2.5 months for these Baffert horses to continue to fade away. So
exactly right.
When I was on Magic Mike, and I think Mike and I were talking about how many Bafferts are going to make the field, make the gate. Yeah. And he said, "What would you take 2?" And I said, "No, because you need 3 to beat me." So then he said 1.5. That 2 number is still looking good because if you have all the ones that haven't really hit their top, I think we kind of know what Authentic is, but he has 2 relative unknowns. He has a couple unknowns that the unknowns might just be better than what he knows in Authentic. So does he want to stick it to people and go with the unknown, or does he want to say, I know what I have in Authentic. I think it's competitive. He's not going to look poor. He's not going to look great. Maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever. It'll be interesting to see just how many make the gate. Does he go with the unknowns or does he go with what he already has in the quote unquote bank?
Yeah, maybe he can find a way to keep the rest of them from getting disqualified. Who knows?
Yeah.
Are we ever going to find out what happened at this point? This is the week past Belmont
in the history of blood tests. I mean, I don't understand what's taking this long.
I don't either. Especially if they talked all that shit, hey,
that's the thing. If they hadn't said anything, we'd be fine. But Volcon was like, "No, we're going to do this, and we're going to lead the industry, and we're going to be the best." And they
were out of their way to say, "This isn't California. We're not going to protect anyone." All right, well, it's been a month and a half.
Right? I know, it's crazy.
I mean, a horse that was in the testing already has won the Acorn.
Right.
And I feel like we're just kind of as an industry, we're just well, remember that time when Baffert tested positive in the Arkansas Derby when we never heard what happened?
Unreal.
We'll be in the Arkansas Derby next April, and be remember that we still don't know if Charlton was positive or not?
They'll get back to us at the beginning of their meet. The new meet, they'll get back to it. It's like they took a pause. They're enjoying the summer. They're going to enjoy football season. When their meet picks back up in the next year, they'll get back to us. When the Derby's over, the Preakness is over, all that good stuff is over, they'll get back to us with an answer. Well, X, Y, and Z tested positive. Well, that would have been nice to know.
I think the big thing is you don't have. I mean, say obviously with he's got the other Baffert horses, but you've got with Charlton being out, you just don't have that rush to know because it's well, he's not running anyways. And so I feel like people are just kind of if he was say he was going to run in the Belmont Stakes, then there would have been a ton of shit. Be oh yeah, can he run? What's the deal?
I feel like the connections of the 2nd and 3rd place horse, they might kind of want to know though, their pocketbooks.
Basin was second.
No, man.
If I'm Basin, I'd like those points.
Oh shit.
I'd like the points. I'd like the money. I'd like if I've won another grade 1.
Wait, does anyone know where Basin sits point wise? Because I haven't looked.
I think he's pretty comfortable here. I'll look it up.
That's why just to speak to Blackjack's point, the money, cool. Obviously, it's a lot of money, the points in terms of making the gate.
Yeah,
What'd you say, 9th?
He's got 50 points, so he's good.
Okay,
but still, I mean.
You'd be a lot safer with the win points.
Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah. Oh man. Well, listen, Willie, the bathroom attendant, also does the blood tests at Oakmont, so he'll get on it. Listen, he wears a lot of hats, man.
Feels busy right now. He's working on those morning lines for next year.
Right.
Listen,
I think
it's Woo Pig Suey season in Arkansas. Let's be honest. Here.
Well, I've never been to Oak Lawn. Until I really had no interest. But does Magic have more duties, or does the bathroom attendant have more duties? I think that's the question, because Magic's rereading my stupid articles that probably have more grammar errors than anyone. And then Willie's making morning lines, but he's also got other stuff to do on race day. I think that's why we don't have an answer.
That's right.
Well, the real question is, did Willie have Tiz the Law as the first star last week?
Well,
Yeah.
Even Willie is number one. Okay.
oh my! I didn't
God
know
bless you,
that.
Blackjack.
I didn't know Tiz the Law was even a candidate to not be one.
He wasn't.
Right.
I don't know.
See,
You win a
Yeah.
Triple Crown race. You assume that horse is going to be the 1-star.
Listen, Ricky,
World.
when you become of legal drinking age, you'll understand alcohol has a funny way of screwing with your brain sometimes. Okay,
I
that's
mean-
my excuse.
Tiz the Law should have been 1, 2, 3, and then we should have added a 4th star just for him, just off that performance.
Aaron did
And
that once. Who was that for? Arrogate? Who did you do that for? You did that one time. You made the same horse the 3 stars.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Was it? I thought it was Arrogate after the Dubai World Cup.
It could have been. Yeah, that would have been right to probably do that. Yeah.
So I
remember who
pulled
that was.
up. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just pulled up the Belmont Stakes. The Belmont Stakes calendar for the rest, and there's nothing that's going to test Sister Charlie in terms of
No flower bowl.
No flower bowl before, which I didn't know off the top because I wanted to pull it up. There's a few local ones, so I mean, I don't think she would run against the boys, but I mean, there's the Manhattan on Stars and Stripes Day. I mean, you want to talk about a return? That's too soon.
Yeah.
But I mean, you wanted to talk about like what we could have seen, just in terms of like we're playing hypotheticals. There's just nothing. Maybe that's why they're waiting, because we're looking back, like you said, the Flower Bowl. There's just really nothing for her to really, unless it's non-graded, and they're not going to put her non-graded.
The flower bowl's in October.
Okay, so the other
that's why she's not in the flower bowl.
Yeah, but no, there's just nothing. Yeah, there's just nothing to test her, unless you want to try non-graded, and I put that at less than 1%. They're going to do that just to even get.
I don't know why you would.
Right, exactly.
Can I make a
there's no
prediction?
point.
Can I make a prediction of where she's going to run? Is that allowed or no?
No.
I think the Boston Spa on July 25th will be her first race.
That far out.
Yep, and then I think she goes to the Diana after that.
Right. No, that's the tune-up. See, I didn't know, and this is what I would have been thinking. If we waited this long, what do we get a start? Like we're seeing with King Guillermo, they've kind of said we're going right to the Derby.
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't know if that's the right or wrong way to go about it. I would like King Guillermo should have a start, even if it's a stupid start. Yeah. Right. Just even
Slim.
if it's like you could just to see that look at Slim said the same thing, straight to the Diana. There's no I don't see what the point is to run. Do you have a purse, Halty, on the Boston Spa? Probably like 150.
Let's see what that is.
125, something in that range. I just don't know if it's
200,000.
okay. So that's still, that would probably be worth it to get the start. But I would probably, you've waited this long, I would probably just wait for the Diana as well. I'm curious to what you guys would do in terms of if you're the connections, do you want to start under her belt?
Well, was it the Arlington Million Day when she debuted last year? Chad waited a long time to bring her back last year.
Diana. She ran in the Diana.
It was the Diana. Okay. I mean,
And then
he didn't. It was like clearly the Breeders' Cup is the goal. We're just gonna like build her up to it. So
she raced 2 times last summer. She can't go to Arlington. Where the hell do you think she's going to run twice? The Boston Spa and the Diana. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
No, yeah, it's logical. I just didn't. I would want to start in her too.
You guys are sitting here trying to get inside Chad Brown's brain. Is anyone playing Charlestown? Because I'm there.
What we at? What race are we at?
Pick 3 leading into the pick 6. I went all 2 in the pick 3.
I like the 2. The 2 should win easy.
You think it's an easy one for him? Wait, the 2 is scratched in the first.
No, second race. I liked your 2 in the second.
Okay,
race.
yeah. Okay.
First race. Let me pull up Charlestown here. My trusty. You played all this race?
I went all. I'm not blown away by the 1 or the 6. I think anybody could win this thing.
I put the 4 on top here, so I like that all.
Do that.
Let's do.
And then I actually didn't go all in the third. I took the 2 and the 4 out, but did everyone else.
Okay, let's see.
Played that for $1.
Yeah, I don't have the 2 or 4 anywhere. I kind of did like the favorite, the 8 in the third, but I also like the 3 a little bit.
I like the 3 too.
Yeah, 10-1. I think it's a good ticket. I really think the second race, the 2 horse, I think he's like, is it he or she? I don't know. Just she. It looks like. I think she is probably the most likely winner in America today.
Looks like a machine. Yeah.
Yeah.
They dominate this field. That beautiful thing about Charlestown is when you get a legit 3 to 5, they usually just roll.
Yeah. Length of the stretch type wins.
Yeah, you normally don't have to sweat those at Charlestown.
No. Let's see. Okay, they're loading. You want to? I know all of us except for me and you are really entertained by this.
I'll watch it.
No, yeah. Well, I'm just looked real quick. There's not a ton of speed in the opener. Like, whoever gets the lead might be able to just go gate to wire.
The best thing about Charlestown, because obviously it's a small track, is when they have their 3-turn races, and those horses are just crawling home in the stretch. It is. I mean, it's not great to watch, but it's funny.
Yeah, it was the same way Halty said. You got to watch Fawner. Wait for one of the 3 turns, and I was like, all right, how good is this going to be? These horses look like snails by the time they're making. I mean, they're just some tracks that are they're just some tracks that are just meant to be short. Charlestown, Fawner.
I don't know if you guys are watching this. The jockey is literally.
I just saw that
to get into the gate.
The favorite did not want to go.
The 6 under. The 6 was under
He broke all over the place.
The 6 was under a ride before the race started.
Well, and then he went straight to the outer rail out of the gate.
I didn't know.
Charlestown at its best.
I love it. My favorite thing about Charlestown is that when they do the cam shots from the roof, is you get all the lights in the shot every time they go past.
Oh yeah, sure do.
Well, let's get the 3 or 4 home here for you.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
The 4's tracking. Come on, 4. Let's do it. 8-1. Holy cow!
I like where this 4's at. The 3 feels like he's asking too much of.
Yeah, the 4 they haven't really asked the 4 for him.
Pumping the 3 a little much.
But again, at Charlestown, horses can just stop.
Oh yeah,
can and regularly do.
Right. Yeah.
4's under the whip already.
They got the whip out on the 4.
This is a quick half.
I think the 1's gonna win pretty easily here.
Yeah, I think the 1's.
The 6 might have something in it.
The 6 is running.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, they're
like he has no idea what he's supposed to be.
The 5 just got caught. The 5 just found traffic trouble.
Look at how wide the 6 is.
The 6 is going to win by 100 links. Look
at that 6 should have never won that race.
Look at this.
This horse got whipped into the gate, broke like a wild Mustang.
Grabbed some popcorn from the stands.
And won by 5.
And won for fun.
That's Charlestown right there.
Welcome to Charlestown, baby. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Well, I'm definitely going to lose money on that pick 3.
Even what was
right.
that? Even money?
Yeah, it's even money. Have we been on here what? We've been on here over 2 hours.
This is 2.5 hours.
I think it's just us just bullshitting right at this point.
I mean, we've had we're at 12 at the moment, but just like 5 minutes ago, there was 25 or so.
Wow. So until Charlestown, we were doing pretty good.
I mean, we're just fucking around here. So,
all right.
Any final thoughts, you guys? I mean, any final thoughts of the day? Anything? I mean, I think we can wrap this day up. What do you say?
Yeah, play the pick 6 at Charlestown. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's gonna be a big pool. It's a mandatory payout.
Blackjack, give your Twitter handle so people can follow
yeah.
your Twitter.
It's at Blackjack Burner. My ticket is posted on there. It's a $115 ticket. Single in the last. So let's live life on the edge.
You're gonna be chain smoking at the end of the night, is what you're saying.
It's going to be a hell of a night.
Y'all aren't doing anything else tonight. If you're watching us right now, you're not doing anything else tonight. So just keep watching and go play Charlestown with Blackjack. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for everyone being on here. Thanks for everyone tuning in. It's been a hell of a day. It lived up to the hype. We've got 2 really serious horses that won the Breeders' Cup Challenge races. Sister Charlie, we talked about her coming up. We've got newspaper record, Uni, all these horses, big time Breeders' Cup type horses that are all ran today. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys made some money, and let's keep doing this. What do you guys say?
We'll do that. We'll definitely be back on Monday for the Magic Mike Show by 2:30 West Coast, 5:30 East Coast time is what we shoot for. So.
That's the comment section that I want a part of. So, all right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jared.
See you guys.